Welcome back, everyone. Now we're going into the third and final set of the day. We're coming on almost 8 hours of broadcasting, but there's still one more best of 7 to break down. It's going to be Kanga, and it's going to be Renegades, both being able to show up. Renegades, notably without their coach, but before we get too far into that, Gormizer, that's pretty hair.
Assault.
Now we get to go through what could be another 7-game set. We could be here. If this goes 3 hours like the last two, we could be here until 8:30.
It could be. It could be very well be our longest day of PPL of this year's history. Kanga and Renegades historically probably won't be 7 games, but a lot can happen over the break. None of these teams have made roster changes per se. Renegades did let go of your coach, like you mentioned. But, overall, Kanga has had the upper hand in this matchup for the majority of the split.
Yeah, and that's kind of where things, I think, are going to sit. They have been doing nothing but progressing forward, I think, over and over, whereas Kanga have been doing nothing but getting better, right? Day one, the first time, actually, they went in this matchup on day one in split one, this was the one Renegades won. This is the one in their win column that they were able to get, but Kanga's done nothing but improve since then, whereas unfortunately, if you're looking at it from the other side, it was Renegades who, while they've been improving, evidently it wasn't enough maybe for some of the higher ups to see what they wanted to. I think they have a -40 plus minus, and so Powtech, who you see there on your screen, is no longer with the team, and as far as I know right now, they are completely coachless, so they're going to be kind of going into that, and for some people, a coach helps with drafts, helps with the map picks, and a lot of things behind the scenes outside of the game.
It's in my opinion, obviously I've never been a PPL coach, so maybe Kresnik can answer this question a little better, but it seems like it's a lot of taking stuff off of the team's plate. Yeah. They can focus on just practicing and playing and being the best player that they can be. Coaches can, they can schedule the scrims. Those guys don't need to be told how to play the game, but I think it's good to just have as many good perspectives, a high-level point of view, a high-level opinion that might be a little bit different or see things through a different lens. The Renegades get rid of their coach. We'll see if Powtech was the problem for the Renegades. I'm curious, what other changes is this team looking to make? Because like you mentioned, it's a -40-something team. They have been around for a very long time, and in no point in that timeline have they been a winning team.
And at this point, it's essentially their job to play upset. They change their standings very little, and I don't see a world where they claw out of 8th, right? Especially with the way the Knights were playing earlier. But I do see a world where they can impact 2nd through 5th, 2nd through 6th, 2nd through 7th, really, based on how they perform, how many wins they get, how many maps they can take. And this is kind of like what you said, their chance to maybe showcase not only what they can accomplish without a coach, but maybe show some of the flexibility that we've gotten used to seeing, out of NIP, out of Na'Vi.
Yeah.
When you can play 2 front lines, you can play triple DPS, you can play quad DPS, you can play triple front line. When you can play all 4 of the strategies, that's where I think Renegades can potentially branch into, because last split, they were kind of do or die on just one.
Yeah, they definitely have some incredible players on that roster. It's just been, I feel like, an inability to put it together. Speaking of incredible players on the roster that kind of have put it together, like you mentioned, they lost their first game of the split to the Renegades. It's the only win that the Renegades have gotten this year. Was over Kanga, but Kanga, without trying to be super excusatory, we're we haven't very had much time together. Yeah. This is a truly international team with 3 Australian players, 1 European player, 1 North American player. You look at a Pittsburgh Knights, they can scrim. There's gonna be some ping, about 100, 120, 130 ping between them.
Yeah.
You're dealing with 300 to 400 ping if you're trying to go from Australia to Europe. It is just impossible to scrim for this team to scrim if they are not all here.
And that was one of the things they were saying, coming into it. I think Jarrah even arrived, much like Alex did, yesterday, very late on a Wednesday, right before the games, where it's cool, so how much time have you guys gotten to spend together? And they're we played some games tonight, and we played some games going into Thursday.
Yeah.
They didn't have a lot of practice that time around. This time, the last time we saw them was at MSI, obviously much improved from that initial engagement in Split 1, but it still wasn't enough to topple SSG at the time, who I believe now sitting, I think, with Envy taking that loss, have moved up into 3rd technically, but it was 5th place versus 4th place. It was a very difficult matchup, probably one of the harder teams to overcome. Now we're looking at 5th place versus 8th place, and Renegades, even though they've made those improvements, the closest they've come was a 7-game set versus SSG, and they still weren't able to close it out, even though they got so close at the very end.
And it's been such a... I'm really frankly surprised. It's been a relatively minor balance patch, like not a ton changed, but it's really done a lot to shake up the meta, and I think that's just because of how many things are viable. When more things are in the pot, when you add one ingredient, it's affecting the other 30 things that are already here, so a lot of things kind of plinking their way up and down wherever they may land. So we are kind of, it's in like a more fresh feeling phase. It really does feel like a new chance for any of these teams to really kind of open up a new page of their story.
I mean, we were even talking about it last set where it just came down to, like, where's Bomb King been? Like, he's just nowhere to be seen. Nothing really changed for him. Things just changed around him.
And he's a big player for both of these teams.
Yeah, he can change a lot. I mean, Shadow and Evil Eye, like, Moonchopper is someone who I hone in on this team because he made that role swap, but Shadow almost consistently performs. Evil Eye is a little more hit or miss.
A little wishy-washy, yeah.
But much like I would say Random Noob, if you get him on something he's comfortable on, he's going to bring you results.
I agree, and I think given what we've seen so far from both NIP as well as Na'Vi now, the more surprising team to have been pulling out the triple DPS as consistently as they are, I'm almost looking at both of these teams through that lens now. Like, if they start to play more triple DPS, which of these teams kind of gain strength? We made a big kind of stink about how Moonchopper had to switch from that DPS to the off-tank role, and it was a difficult transition for him because not only do you have to, make that switch to that role, but it's the role that's the most has been asked of in this meta, right? So many of your characters get banned. You could play any of the off tanks in any given map, so you have to be ready to go. And if you don't perform when you get the good ones, then your team almost automatically loses because you had to first pick your pick most likely.
And that's, I think, one of the roughest things about drafting. And again, somewhere where a coach can levy on whether or not something like, again, a heavy hitter like Atlas, do you really want him? Like, is Moonchopper good enough to be able to bring him out? I think in the past what we've seen is, yes, the answer is for that. For Khan, very high priority, I think, for both these teams. Ashe has been very big for Kanga as well, so I'm interested to see where she kind of falls in terms of priority.
Love it. Love the Ashe for Kanga for sure. Ice Mines banned out by Kanga. Orders Gate, that's going to be gone for the Renegades. Splitstone and Ascension Peak as well. Splitstone for Kanga, Ascension for the Renegades. Those are your map bans. Remember, this is, again, a best of 7. We could potentially go the distance here. Historically, again, this hasn't gone the distance. Not since that very first time these teams met have they really put up a really great fight against Kanga. Yeah. Kanga started to come together, like you mentioned, took down Virtus Pro, last second got themselves 5th place instead of 6th place for the MSI. This is a team that is here to compete.
And coming into this set, this is, again, one of those things, Renegades play upset. Depending on how many maps they win in this set, like if it's a 4-0 for Kanga, that's great for them, not so good for the Renegades. But if you shake it up a little bit, and it does go 4-3, you don't change much if you're Renegades, but you shake up 5th, 6th, 4th, all of those standings above you. Maybe you make it easier for the Knights to start climbing as well as we go into Frog Isle, somewhere we haven't gotten to go today.
Yeah, I guess you're right about that. We haven't had to see this one despite seeing 14 games so far in the Premier League. Eevee banned out first. Speaking of the Blaster conversation, the Drogos is the Bomb Kings, the Eevees. Very high priority for both of these teams' Blasters, both Shadow and Evil Eye. Incredibly high performers on those characters, so you have to keep an eye on them for sure. Saw a lot of Torvald in the first set of the day. Virtually none in the second. We'll have to see where he ends up being prioritized. Kanga will get rid of it, despite being first pick, meaning they have little to no interest in it, at least for this map.
And again, all I can think of is like almost every draft, I could open up my MSI stats and look, but I mean, so many weeks in a row where it's been like, well, Atlas is open, Khan is open, something's open, and then they go for Ashe anyway, no matter what. It doesn't matter to them too much. Expect Makoa probably to fill in right here, which will leave open that Khan. And it's one of those things, I mean, Kanga typically prefer the Ashe, so Renegades might be leaving that open for Moonchopper.
And I think I even prefer Ashe on this map in particular. All smiles in the Kanga booth so far. And they will be hovering the Khan, at least the onset. Personally, I prefer Rhino on the Ashe. I think, getting rid of Atlas Makoa. Again, these are high priority bans, but he is definitely superb on both of those. He's been, I think, one of the better off tanks, especially on Atlas. Given where Kanga have placed, it almost speaks more about Rhino that he can be in that conversation for top 3 Atlases in the league, despite his team being, 5th, 6th place versus Na'Vi and IP, who are 1 and 2, housing the other 2, I think, top 3 Atlas players in Phoenix and Diggy Dog.
Now you're looking at it. You can see Moonchopper there right before it was on Hero. And Hero is someone else to look at. I mean, his Barrack play, just his play in general, escalated the Renegades in a way I think that no one truly expected to see. And it went from weeks of kind of quiet frontline play to all of a sudden having a huge lazy-esque impact for the Renegades. Like, there were times, I mean, they were pushing NIP 4-3s. Again, they took a set to 7 games with SSG. And it's just little slip-ups in that set that really kind of cost them the win. But I assume, well, not assume, I pretty much know this Barrack has to be going to him. And do you expect to kind of see a lot out of him because of it?
Well, they might be looking to leave themselves open. Barrack is one of those more... It's the one point front line you probably want if you're running a 3 DPS, as well as being able to, you can transition this into Barrack or Nara. You could transition this along with another off-tank pick, but leaving Khan and Ashe open to Kanga, put yourself in a bit of an interesting spot with so many other off-tanks banned. You have to imagine, if Renegades want to go for a double-tank composition, they have to be leaning towards that Inara at this point. If they go for the Genos here, it's almost a surefire thing that they're going to pick up 3 DPS.
And it's been interesting to see, again, when you talk about impactful supports, a couple of players, and honestly names come to mind, Jera on Kanga would absolutely be one of the top-tier players who we've seen throughout years, just controlling teams from the support role. But Viral, I think, fits in there just as well. It's someone who, again, you look at the track record of the Renegades, it doesn't seem like they have 5 stellar players on it, but I think every single one of them has kind of done something impressive throughout their career. And Viral is absolutely one of those supports who can make this Genos turn into something maybe a little bit more.
I'll be honest, I'd really love to see Renegades go for a 3 DPS here.
Instead of it, Fernando.
Fernando's tough to pull off, man. Only on a couple maps, I think, does it work, and Frog Isle is just not one of them for me. It's such a long line of sight to overcome, and so far so good. They transition that, hovering the Fernando now, locking in the Strix instead. Put themselves in a position to still go either way. They could pick up a second frontliner, they could pick up a 3rd DPS, so they at least have that going for them.
And they get to play around a little bit, but we finally do get some sniper play to come through for the day. It's been a while now since I've gotten to see Strix. I'm pretty happy about it. Same thing for Frog Isle. And the question is whether or not Kanga want to answer with Kinessa, and they want to go scope for scope, or if they want to run something like a Leon to potentially just keep that range, maybe not go scope for scope, but still have some of that damage and potential to shut him down.
Well, Drogoz will have to be pretty hyper aware of Strix at this point. That is a hard counter you don't want to mess with. And likely to go combustible, actually, despite what Frog Isle, or maybe because of what Frog Isle is.
Yeah.
It's not your Jag, it's not your Ice Mines where it's a little section of cubes. It's got a long line of sight, but because of that, you can't really afford to be flying around in the skies. You'll get taken out very, very quickly. And so, combustible tends to be the more popular selection on this map for this character.
A lot less cover up in the air, really, for him. So Strix, if you can't find a shot, say, onto the point tank or onto the Kinessa, and there's a Drogoz floating up in the sky, well, that kind of makes your choice very easy as well. The combustible, though, does allow him a little bit more knockback around ramp, where we see a lot of fights break out very early on, but also kind of causes some trouble for Strix. If a fire spit or a dragon spit goes over his head, like over wall, over window, where he's normally kind of trying to peek, that's some free damage for the Drogoz to potentially find.
Definitely is. There's a chance. Well, I've already kind of said my piece on it. So, Kinessa can set up this Drogoz if she lands the first shot, or even vice versa, right? If a rogue fire spit finds its way to Strix, hits him for the 1,300 damage, and Kinessa can clean that one up. Strix has to be very aware of it. So
I know you were hoping to maybe lean on a 3rd DPS coming in for Renegades, but now having the Immortal to counter the Dragon Punch, do you think that's going to play a huge role in this, or do you think it didn't matter as much and they should have still gone for that damage?
It'll play a role. I don't know about a huge game-changing role, but it's absolutely something to talk about.
Still going to be impactful, still going to be interesting. Let's see if the Renegades are able to do it. But to do that, we have to go into game, and again, to go into game, we have to go down to your casters.
Flawless logic there from Goremizer. Absolutely correct. Before we go there, we have to come here. Set 3, game 1. Dolson Kresnik, first official cast. I guess you can throw quotes around that.
What's our combo name, Dave?
Oh no! You said one that I've already forgotten.
I did. It was Dwemer, but I did not want to follow up with that.
Yes.
I don't want to go with that.
We are not. That is not it. No, we are moving right on past that. That'll never be it. I hate everything about that, but that's okay. Dwemer for the moment, at least here on Frog Isle, is where we go. We speculated maybe an Inara, but it's instead the Fernando.
That's not
from Moonchopper that comes out. Is that spicy or is that not spicy?
I'm actually surprised that it's in Moon's hands, to be honest, because
Sure.
I feel like you could have off-tank Barrack, main-tank Nando on this map. Having him in the middle makes you a little more flexible to deal with the Immortal, but, I mean, Nando off-tank is still fine. I just don't know how he's going to do into the Drogos.
You know, I think that Dwemer, sorry to regress from your point, Dwemer's okay, but Dobby is even better, you know, for Bobby and Dave. So Dobby it is.
I've gotten a sock, so we are still trapped. And Evoli has been freed from this mortal coil, unlike us, thanks to Invocal Strix playing up in the window. Really good positioning, and that headshot on Kinessa gives him a lot of freedom here. I don't know what they're going to be able to do to pressure him out now, especially with no shoulder bash.
You know, I've always asked this question. Is it truly just preference between Strix and Kinessa as far as what you like playing?
Honestly, Strix is a little worse into like Ashe because he can't get away from pressure. Kinessa can just teleport away. Strix is definitely better for raw damage, but Kinessa maybe if you think you're going to get pressured a lot.
And she has been putting out a little bit of pressure here. Renegades were able to get to about 30% before Kanga stalled things out. Chronix, the big man piloting the Kinessa this time around, adds a little bit of damage, but Evil Eye, though, is going to be the one to round that one out. Blasted back right now, actually way on the back foot of the Renegades. Half health bars across the board. Shadow needs to find a way to turn this one around, but that's not going to happen. Chronix, Rhino, and Evil Eye, 1, 2, 3. Down go the Renegades, and likely the first point going the way of Kanga.
Yeah, Ashe barely getting healed up there at the very last second, keeping Joel's alive to keep up the pressure. If only following up with him. Chronix, too, he had a really aggressive teleport in, and that got a lot of ground for them porting up to the stage. Evoli showing off the value of Drogos on this map, which is indirect spam. You can spam around corners without having to peek that sniper, who is oh so important on Frog Isle.
Oh, speaking of snipers, Invocal clips the wings of the Dragon this time around on the back of the Midnight. Shadow as well adds a kill. Get to his ring on this side. Back go Kanga with about 2 minutes left on the clock. The first round of ultimates in this game are starting to come up as well. This is a bit of a side point to the game at hand. Are you surprised the Renegades didn't opt for any roster swaps outside of, I mean, this is maybe a longer conversation to have outside of game, but do you think that this roster with enough practice could be competitive in this league?
I mean, I think so. It's all star-tier players, and the fact that they're committing to it shows that they're looking for the long game, you know, but the long game is coming to a close soon. You know, Worlds is within a few months. They're already about halfway through the season, so we'll have to see how they adapt and how they move forward, but I do like the faith in their players.
Right, I agree. I mean, they showed time and time again that there are games that they can win. I mean, a lot of the times, specifically against SSG, that heartbreaker that they suffered. I mean, they've shown that they can compete in this league. Yeah, no, you really did it to me there. Hero finds a kill. Immortal as well comes out from Moonchopper, just biding a little bit of time. The payload is still moving forward. The Dragon Punch, correct? That's what Gore brought up. How much is that going to come into play? Certainly came into play this time around.
Quite a bit, but I don't think he wants to hold on to it too much. And Nando's Immortal doesn't charge very fast, so if he gets it at the same rate of Dragon Punch, he'll probably use it at the same rate without even thinking. It'll probably constantly be countering it, but you can get value out of it aggressively if you can put enough space between you and the Dragon Punch so he can't just get a quick turn around the corner, get a punch, thrust away.
Well, it worked that time. It got through time and space wide right here this time for the Renegades. Viral missing that one. A little bit of space on the jacket of Joel's down there on the bottom right. And Vocal, this is a spot where I think the Strix will feel very comfortable, and he does just that. The 1-2 punch in Vocal and Shadow, both of these guys so important to the Renegades lineup. About 15 seconds left. Kanga are forced back. Don't see much of an opening for them to get back in there.
Unless they want to use ultimates.
I guess that's true.
Assert Dominance is so big. Assert Dominance and Overpower, huge game-winning ultimates on this mid, especially since you can zone very, very hard on this map, I think, because of the sightlines being so big. Joel's trying to get a last-minute touch, maybe just to get his team some extra ult charge, but it doesn't go in. They're not too torn up about it. They're probably still happy with the ultimates they have going into this. Their economy looking pretty good, I think, heading into the second mid. Yeah, they have, I believe, the Overpower and the Assert Dominance on the side of Kanga, so they'll be happy about that. You mentioned Evil Eye as an important, impactful, not only player, but him piloting the Drogos on this map ever so important. Great example of that there as well. He's one of the best DPSs to contest the edge. 2 and 5 right now. I think he just has to probably pull back a little bit. His comp is kind of a mix because his tanks are aggressive, but those are two pretty passive DPSs.
Sure.
So probably just has to find the line he has to toe between how much can I go in with my team. He also is probably just going to be
It's that ever delicate balance.
Yes,
Isn't it?
exactly.
Do I go all the way?
Walking the life or death tightrope every
right.
single time he wants to commit.
He's looking to do a little bit of that here. Knowing that they're going to go off to the side, it's a dangerous place to be against a combustible Drogos. That knockback, excuse me, hits you just right. We've seen a couple instances of some unseating off the edge. Is it Serpent Beach that's down below Frog Isle? One or the other. I don't remember. At any rate, Jules throws down the assert dominance to get this one started.
Yeah, controlling the window, pressuring out Hero. They can't shoot through the window right now at all. Shadow getting picked off from the danger pressure too. Joel's really looking strong up here, locking them out, making the space that a tank needs to. Getting away too. He even got the hit while getting away. This momentum carrying because of the Void Grip. That was really strange to watch. Rhino zoning forward, getting some hit scan dismounts. Also still has the overpower.
Yeah, they only used the assert dominance and charged everything else up in the meantime. That was smart, I think, on their side to hold on to it. Of course, he said, you know, maybe he gets in there and gets a touch, could burn the assert dominance, but this time they're only going to use it to capture it. And they still have an economy advantage, pushing into maybe this payload push that puts them up 3-1. Renegades still charging up a few. Flashbang, Immortal maybe up at the same time as the Dragon Punch, so maybe look out for that interaction as well.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, right now they're split enough where if Oli could get a pick with the Dragon Punch, they're going to try to disengage when that happens.
Right.
But, Overpower actually coming in, gets the Barrack Hero thrown off the edge. Actually, I think maybe just killed. Looking really strong through time and space to try to buy some ground, maybe get some damage, but doesn't confirm any kills, which lets Kanga sit back, reheal, and resettle as they turn this last corner.
That's just off to the side. You'd really hope that if you're viral, that one hits Spunky with a beautiful double kill last game to help tilt things in his favor. Those support ultimates, you know, you can say that they're only good for healing and shot calling, but that's just not true. A good through time and space can turn everything around.
Here
Here
comes
comes the
through
midnight.
time and space.
That's true, I guess.
You're spotting through walls?
I guess you're right. No, I mean, not necessarily through time and space shot calling, but shot calling as a support in general. That's all besides the point, because Heroes stabilized things here for the Renegades. They've still got 1:23 seconds left to defend here against Chronix, and Vocals had a pretty good defensive stand as well.
Yeah, I think so. Dome Shield being used is actually pretty big for Kanga. That's a really impactful ultimate when it comes to last-second holds. It's not going to be as strong on this mid, I think, because they can ignore him.
Right.
But when it's plopped right down in that center choke, I clap my hands even though no one can see it. I don't know why. And when it's plopped right down in that center choke, it's really hard to go past. Actually, fully Rhino getting good pressure here on the side. Shadow has to go back to spawn. Joel's getting picked off in main, though, means this aggression might not mean anything in the end.
And Vocal yet again opening up the kills for the Renegades here. 45 seconds left. Plenty of time for Kanga to give this one more go if they need it. Hero as well gets rid of Evil Eye, so the Dragon's going to be flying back from base here in one more moment. But slightly staggered out. I mean, 5 seconds might not seem like a huge amount of time, but when you consider the zone and extra kills on the back end of it, Renegades have been defending relatively well, I would say, so far this game.
Yeah, Renegades actually, well, Kanga actually did really well to not get staggered there.
Yes.
I was going to say, like, if they got staggered, this push could have already been over.
Right.
You know, there could have been no chance left for the fight, but they managed to get away. Chronix still being alive, very important, impactful player for these. If you get one pick, you can shift forward. That's all you need sometimes, especially with how strong the tanks are for Kanga. Con Ash, that's a scary duo.
Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous. Overpower is back up and available again as well. Evil Eye, you talked about maybe going a little bit too deep. Does a little bit of that right there. Looking for Invocal, doesn't end up finding him. The Overpower is ready for Kanga, and they're actually fighting at a disadvantage, but still playing aggressively with Jules and Rhino both back at base. You got to imagine this is a successful defense, and one more point fight on the board for us here today.
Yeah, Jules just wasn't able to make it far enough to pressure Invocal.
Sure.
I mean, Invocal on snipers, historically, it's scary. I think everybody who watched the World Qualifiers remembers that absurd flick headshot he had on Canessa on Frozen Guard. I mean, you put any sniper in his hands, and he's going to look really dominant. He is doing that here, just putting his foot down on Chronix, saying, no, this is my time.
I win this engagement.
This is my time. And the tanks, when they can't reach him, if he's not getting pressured, he's just going to be able to free fire. Free firing in Vocal is a lost game. I mean,
That's a scary Invocal.
yeah, I mean, think, my team, SSG, excuse me,
Sure.
versus Renegades, free firing Victor, Atlas, there's nothing Atlas can do at that point.
I mean, that's good for 9, 2, and 4 for Invocal.
Yes.
Free firing Invocal is good for top damage in the game by 17,000. Quick math on my side. H streak burning away for Invocal as well. He's had an impact on these mid-fights. They're going to look to win one through time and space. Does end up finding Gara. This time around, Dragon Punch has to be peeled back. No kill on the end of that one, though. Viral with the only kill so far in this engagement.
A really good Immortal to counter it. Ivoli finding Shadow, though, hiding around the tree. Oh, what a flare from Invocal, catching him across the map. SOS, we need help. Ivoli needs it more. Flash coming in, too, to maybe try to stagger out Rhino a little bit, not let him know what to do, but I don't think anything he does matter when the Dome Shield gets dropped on your face.
That's right, and that's just going to buy a little bit of time. He even backs off. Finally, Chronix is able to deal with Invocal. Joel's is in a good area. He could assert dominance. Oh, but the Void Grid keeps him out of it. He drops down just in time, and he gets a double kill to top it all off. Assert dominance, rips down, rips through. Evil Eye finishes off the wipe. Kanga, they're on the point, but only 21%. Plenty of time for Renegades to get back and give it a try.
Kanga has these hit scan positioning, though, and the dismount mines from Chronix. I'm not sure if Renegades will be able to get through. No ultimates to break it. They had to use all of them. Ash really showing why people prefer her over Khan sometimes.
That's right.
You just can't. You can counter a lot of things. Invincibility in your face, not one of them. Really showing what it can do. Rhino looking really strong in that window, locking down that angle. Moon trying to come in. Doesn't have the charge. I think he used it. Shadow has to touch. Does he get away? Yes, he does. Hero getting the touch. Joel's getting lifted in the back. Might actually die there. Managed to trade, but it's a 4v4 as this fight gets towards the end.
Viral yet again finding a kill. Moonchopper picks up the slack where it is. It's trading back and forth, 2 for 2 up to this point. Gara, though, adds another one onto Hero. Rhino's still alive. Viral has to touch. That's going to be the end of this one. Kanga's going to get point number 3 with a chance to end the game.
Yeah, really good focus fire, I think, by Kanga at the end. They got down the tanks they needed to touch. They had the advantage. They had the point control. If you just burn the touchers and don't peek the angles of the strong backline DPSs, there's nothing they can do. They played their advantage, I think, really, really well as Chronix gets aggressive around this final corner.
Headhunter ready. He wants to add a little bit of extra damage. Dread Serpent as well into the backline. Joel's is going to find the kill onto Invocal. Thanks to that one, good shot from Chronix. That's 5 in a row from him. Rhino does end up getting a little bit too far forward, but that's just maybe a bit of a consolation prize here. Shadow goes down as well, and this payload's inching ever closer.
Yeah, really good staggered kills there means that Joel's will, Rhino will probably be back in time for this. Ivoli actually really forward here without the Dragon Punch. Might be trying to get like a little cheeky combustible off the edge, maybe trying to bait for Joel's here a little bit, since I don't think anyone would guess that Ivoli would be right here.
You would assume not.
Moon not checking it as part of it too, waiting for a call there. Overpower in on Moon. Got confirmed too, should get the kill. It does. This is looking solid for Kanga to convert this. Pushing through the Vines area as well. Shadow half health trying to get a Fully. That runs away.
He wraps
Plays
around
his life
the
instead.
side.
Kanga just caps.
Oh my, that's all they needed. The overpower. The front line's doing the dirty work here towards the end of this one. Kanga Esports claims victory in game number 1.
Overpower was enough.
The overpower, you're right. I mean, you mentioned sort of the trade-off of Ashe versus Khan. I mean, the insta-gib potential of an overpower is so potent.
When you have
especially
both.
when you have Khans in your right, both in your ring. You'll be feeling pretty good about that one. I think Renegades, a little grumpy probably that they gave up that third midpoint. They had 99%. Kanga were able to fight back, get on the point there, but good start, I would say. Honestly, from Kanga, obviously you win game 1, but Renegades, they look pretty good coming out today. Still plenty of games to prove and maybe grab themselves a win.
Yeah, they don't look too bad coming out of that break. And this was also Kanga's map pick.
True.
So, maybe not feeling too bad about that. Could be like, oh, our record's not that great on Frog. Let's reset, figure out what we want to do from here. They're moving to their pick from here on. Could be more comfortable. I didn't hate how they played, honestly. I think they could look solid moving into the next maps.
There's lots of little moments that you have to look at. Assert dominance was very good. Overpowers, all going the way of Kanga. Game 1 also going the way of Kanga in our third set of the day. Before we send it back to the desk, we'll send it to a quick break.
Alienware, the official PC provider of the Paladins Premier League.
My money was on Hero for that one, so I
I
guess
thought that was tenor.
That was I've at least 3 or 4 of them I said tenor and had it not be tenor, and I'm like, you know what? I guess I just have to pull away from that.
I would have put money on that being tenor. They're not too unlike. They're both like tall, like pretty thin guys.
Yeah.
Kind of the same head shape, somewhat hairstyle. Ricardo looks tired as hell in that picture, though. I mean, my man needs to catch himself a nap.
He's got to be able to get some sleep, although they've been putting in the work on the nights, just like it seems like Kanga's been able to put it in. You do see, I believe, Invocal being able to once again show up, even though the team was losing 107,000 damage. He is top damage by a landslide, 11, 5, and 6.
KD,
but
too.
It's a 7, 2, and 7, I guess, on the other side. That's just a little more impressive.
I mean, he's like the new school War Doom, but a DPS player. Great KD, insane stats, but just the dub just won't come his way. However, 2.1 KDA, 60k damage for the frontline Joel. A great job locking it down, and this is actually a guy who has an interesting story of going from the DPS to the frontline role and kind of having it work out. I mean, he plays a decent amount of Barrack. For the most part, is that point frontline, but in a double aggro tank composition like this, it's kind of it's fun for me at least to see Joel get back to his old fragging roots. You know what I mean? Get in there, mix it up, and just be a huge part of the team fight.
I mean, I think it's funny because, you know, for Kanga, like, Joel's is listed as their flex. Like, is kind of that guy that is not playing, I want to say, you know, the hardcore committed frontline. But at the same time, this is the one team that will switch up anything and everything. Like, depending on what draft they get, who has Ashe, where they're going, like, Rhino can play Ashe, Joel's can play Ashe. Rhino can play Con, Joel's can play Con. No matter what, they're both going to be willing to be
and sometimes they
flexible
switch.
in that.
I still haven't been able to identify like the who, what, where, when, and why.
Tank.
Like
who
when they have Ashe and Con, it almost seems willy-nilly, like of who plays what. I know
they rock paper scissors before the game to see who gets it.
There's no chance it's random, but they really do switch. Those two characters in particular, like both of them play both of them a lot. Genos will be the first ban this time around for the Renegades. We are headed to Bright Marsh. Kanga will actually take Ashe off of the table. I think Ashe has been super solid, not only for Moonchopper, but for Joel and Rhino as well. This is going to be a hotly contested pick. Very surprised to see Kanga get both Con and Ashe. I will say that.
Yeah, it was not something I think anyone really expected. Like, I mean, just based on where the Renegades drafts have gone in the past, like even without a coach, not much about them as players is going to have changed. And so when you look at Moonchopper specifically, at least when I put my magnifying glass on him, Ashe, Con are probably his top 2 champions in that role. Atlas is very much up there. Makoa's up there, but most of the time they're banned.
Yeah.
So you want to try and trip him up onto something. Like, if you put him on Ruckus, Renegades don't have the same performance they have as if he's on Con.
Triple DPS, Lex, Ruckus, Willow. I mean, I'm looking out for a couple.
Triple DPS would be good for him.
I'm looking out for a couple of things today for sure. I want to see some of these new picks from the Renegades, from Kanga. These are 2 teams that they're in the back half of the pack, so not making roster changes, something else still needs to happen, right? Something's got to spark that fire, in Kanga's case, kind of fan the flames to make them a hotter team for sure. There's a lot to work with. I think the meta's changed a decent amount just with kind of like a relatively minor balance patch.
Yeah.
Throwing a couple of things in. I mean, can you call it minor? Willow's buffs are
They were pretty.
They were all small buffs, but like everything on her kick got buffed.
It's monumental, yeah. It's like one of those things, and it made her movement
and Lex's
better, which
talent,
admittedly
that's
was
like
the part
that's
that
a
hurt.
full gun rework, basically. That's kind
Same
of
for
major.
Andrew.
That's kind of major. Andro, I want him to be back so bad. I mean, I love that character, so I miss
thought for sure we
Androxys.
were going to see it in Na'Vi. Like, I was like, there's no way Mutu goes through this set without playing Andro
Serpent
once.
Beach, Game 7. He's struggling on all his other picks. I mean, you're right. That was really that was
stars
planets aligning
for
for sure. That was it. If ever there was a time to whip out Andro, gosh dang it, that was it. But the Renegades will first pick Inara, nonetheless, here on Bright Marsh. Bright Marsh is not a terrible Androxys map either. Invoco's a pretty good Andro. I don't really know if anyone on I think everyone has an Andro, like, because he's like the 1v1 character everyone just kind of goofs around with. And he's so much fun to play. But I don't think anybody's really chomping at the bit. I think when you see Andro, it's on those rock monkeys. You know, it's on those Mutus. It's on those dudes that have just played it for so long. And he's been, at points, a pretty decent part of the meta.
Yeah, and he's been able to change games as of right now. Khan Barrack locked in here for Kanga as they come through. And, I mean, we just saw what Khan can do given the right hands. Brightmarsh, the layout is not similar to Frog Isle. The size, though, is. And so in terms of being able to find a little bit of control, I think Khan's going to be able to kind of lead the way. And Barrack, even though Renegades didn't win with it, I think was another showcase of how strong he can be on the point. Of course, we've seen that all day. A lot of these teams have kind of shifted. For most people, Inara kind of fell off. Barrack is their #1 go-to.
Ooh. Hold the phone.
Oh, that's what I was looking for.
We
I was
forgot
wondering.
about Torvald.
He was banned. Okay, that's what I was like. There was 3 frontlines banned last game. Who made it through? There's 3 frontlines banned this game. Who am I forgetting?
I mean, this will work for the Renegades if they can get this Bomb King pocketed by Torvald. Bomb King has certainly fallen out of popularity. There's a couple of reasons I think for that. Certain elements of resilience I think getting nerfed, the cost being so cheap now, picking that up, you really don't get a ton of value off the stun as much. I believe his health got tuned down a little bit as well. Just little things over time started to kind of take the Bomb King out of relevance. And not bad by any means, but just certainly, not super sought after in every single game. You have those high-level BK players like Evil Eye and Shadow R, who will go for it if it's open and they're feeling it and it's on a good map. But it's far from the automatic first pick that we once saw.
I think my favorite thing about Bomb King is there will be times in a set where, you haven't seen him. I mean, like, we've gone weeks without seeing Bomb King to a week where he's first banned because someone played him really, really well and kind of reminded everybody what Bomb King can do in certain scenarios. And so I wonder which Bomb King we're going to get today. Is this going to be the one that makes Kanga have to ban it for the rest of the set? Or is this going to be the one that, well, just kind of rides through as they lock in Furia and the ever-so-popular Lex?
Basically every set we've seen some Lex action here. Won't have the direct damage amp pocket. We'll have the Furia damage amp potential, though. That's the biggest thing, is that a lot of Lex's success today, I can't say if it was as a result of, but has come alongside being pocketed by either a Genos or a Torvald, or in Tender's case, both. Being able to crack an Inara for 1,400 damage on a headshot is certainly something I think any character would be happy to have. That amount of damage amp, 45% extra damage, is a huge amount. Throws them way out of line of where they're normally at. But can he still succeed without that Genos, without that Torvald? That's the question here for Chronix.
I mean, you're looking at somebody who, given the right circumstances, can 2-tap a Bomb King, 2-tap a Mave. Right now, might not have the right circumstances, might still need that 3rd shot, but either way, 3 shots is still great for him. As Willow gets locked in at the very end, very, very good at controlling like an Inara when it comes down to it, very good at controlling a Ying and kind of space controlling on the heal. How do you like what Kanga's kind of drafted for this one?
I really like this, frankly. I think Willow, just for the reasons you just mentioned, being able to shut down what is going to be a very, very, big healing sponge on the objective.
Yeah.
Tough to play against. Evil, I think, is going to be able to get in a good rhythm here, and while not necessarily having to play the Eevee, adding another blaster to the pool for Evil, I think, is going to be great overall for Kanga.
And I think opening that door, Willow was one of the biggest ones last year when she kind of like exploded onto the scene. She just came out of nowhere. Now,
kicks ass on Brightmarsh, too.
She's doing it, so we're going to see how it works for Kanga as we jump down to the casters for Brightmarsh.
Thank you, Gore. Thank you, Nick. Game 2 about to get underway. Kanga win Game 1, and they also get both of the fun, new, not really reworked, but updated,
feels like
tweaked champions. Yeah,
feels like it was like, oh, they added a new champion. She's called Willow.
She's called Willow, right. Into the game she goes. Kanga gets both on their lineup here. How do you feel about the Willow and Lex stack as your Soul? I guess I was going to say Soul 2 damage dealers. That's not really the case when you have Khan and Barrack on your side.
I think it's really solid, especially against the comp that Renegades has.
Sure.
They mentioned like the countering the Inara's like healing sponge, but there's also the fact that when Willow ults, what are Shadow and Invocal going to do? I mean, Invocal can throw those daggers across the map as much as he wants, but he's not going to be able to connect those consistently. Evoli's going to get a ton out of this. Already taking rim control, poking from far away. BK already has to pop you out of the way, doesn't want to fight him, but oh my, what a chase here from Invocal. Catches out Evoli in the air. I guess that's what they can do. Not ulting yet, but still, mid-airs, if he's hitting those, they're going to have no problems moving forward here.
That was an important trade back. Things were really tilting in favor of Kanga there, but a good chase down tilts things a little bit back. Still technically in favor of Kangas. They're on the point here with 27%. We also haven't seen a lot of Bomb King today, or any Bomb King, I should say. Gore was kind of speculating maybe just getting overshadowed by some of the new shiny updated champions. Is that the case?
I think people just prefer the other champions for their consistency.
Sure.
Bomb King is still really good, but you really need to have a very strong performance on him for his impact to be felt, which is why he's being played, I think, so much by with Torvald.
Yeah.
A lot of the time. Like when you see him on maps like this, he's a very, very good pocket target. He's just a solid hyper carry. You know, if you want your blaster to be the one carrying your team, Bomb King is definitely one of the ways to go. If you don't feel like a flank is the ideal for that map.
Well, they could use a little bit of that carry right now as point 1 goes for Kanga. Not much contest really on the back end of it. Evil Eye with a double kill on the Willow. Helps wraps things up here. Point number 1 in favor of Kanga. Shadow and Invocal are going to answer back here. 2 minutes left on the clock. Good defensive stand from the Renegades. That's basically all they were able to do on Frog Isle. A little bit more of the same here on Bright Marsh. Just drawing a line in the sand and not letting Kanga cross.
Yeah, I wouldn't be as surprised to see them get really aggressive here. I mean, with the Torv, BK, and Maeve, that's a pretty forward comp. I mean, they're missing out on
Kana's right there.
Yeah, Kanga got the fear. I mean, they're not going to see that. We have the power. They unfortunately do
right.
not. And if they do, they might get fined.
No.
But barely making it away with the Torv bubble field study, giving him some extra damage for this corner spam. Not going to make too much of a difference. Vocal actually fighting Evoli on the other side of the map. Oh, really good cleanup and pressure here. Hero also running it down mid, straight up. Really solid pinch. Shadow still keeping up the pressure here with the field study bubble.
Wow.
Ding, ding, ding. He's finding all these confirms. They're just going to hard zone this.
I think this is where you're going to feel so comfortable if you're a Bomb King, fighting in these small side corridors. And you're getting the sticks, you're getting the eliminations, but I mean, as long as you can throw a bomb, throw a primary attack through a doorway, you're going to be hitting somebody. And that's exactly how it works out this time around. I mean, the Renegades, I mean, the sort of cliche when you have a Torvald on your team is that you're going to win early game, but once the wreckers come online, you start to lose maybe a little bit. But that was not the case at all whatsoever. Kanga come out, win the first point fight. Renegades finally able to get onto the defensive side. Vocal not able to clean up that kill, though.
Does manage to catch a volley. Barely clips his wings from
right
over the wall. They're going to have to back up here a little bit, losing ability. They might actually just try to die right on the cart. I wouldn't be surprised if they did, since they're still pretty close. Yeah, Shadow screws up the Poppy. He's going to have to stay in. Chronic's finding a ton of cleanup kills here. Lex is just outrageous on the damage.
He's the Lexecutor today, and he's doing it big right now. Chronic's with a double kill. Just to get back to the payload, though, that's pretty notable. Renegades were on defense there, fully pushed out into the Kanga side. 14 seconds remaining. This will likely go into overtime. Kanga, every ultimate except for Willow's is available. Hyper Beam is ready. No Seismic Crash, notably. No Midnight will be ready likely this round. All depends on who finds this first pick. Shadow, I think, will be very comfortable from this high ground.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Especially against these Tor bubbles, which he is getting. He can corner spam the cart. Hero has to use his shield, actually. Sorry, excuse me. Joel has to use his shield to stay alive from the spam. Volk controlling the right side, keeping up the poke. And are actually contesting the cart, too. He's going to get spammed really quick. Dead Zone immediately melts him. Can they make it to the cart? And Vocal does. DR, I don't think will keep him alive. Has to back off. Kanga gets the cap. Goes to 2-0.
And it's on the back of one kill. I mean, so much pressure coming into it, but like you said, the dead zone was enough. Rhino is the only one adding a kill there towards the end of it, but it's an important kill. No more Hero for Renegades, no more Inara. Able to just stand there and contest the payload. So Kanga find themselves up 2-0 early on here on Bright Marsh. The Willow's been looking good for Evil. I mean, they have the most damage on the Renegades. 7-2 for Invocal, 4-2 for Shadow. I don't know what else you can do if you're them.
I mean, if they just kite the DPS, they get some kills, but if they keep trading on the tanks, they can get that objective pressure. That's really what matters in the end. Dead Zone showing why Willow is such a strong diving champion now. I think Flutter Boost lets her get in quick. She's great at spamming, but now she has that opportunity to just get the Dead Zone on one target. If the entire team says, go, that person is going to be dead.
That's what they're going to look to do as well. Evil Eye can't see and throw down that dead zone. You're wondering how that would interact. The two ultimates off one another and Vocal dashing. None of the daggers hitting just yet. Finally some, but he drops down. Not enough to execute the Willow. The high-flying Willow, some as well on the back end of it. But the only kill that's happened, the side engagement over here, Moonchopper and Shadow both falling at the hands of Kanga. Evil Eye, the long-range shots onto Moonchopper are going to clean that one up. The mark going on to Bomb King, but Kanga, they're back on the point and with a good zone laid out.
Yeah, I mean, Vocal being so distracted trying to shoot a volley means he wasn't supporting the other side. Their comp is very focused on their DPS. If one of them's taken out of the game, especially while a volley can keep spamming, it's going to be great. Shadow getting the bubbled up. The speed boost wasn't enough. The shout completely negating all the damage. This is just steamrolling for Kanga's way right now. Moonchopper getting chased by the inflamed Khan. Ying's going to try to get away, but I feel like it's just a day late and a dollar short. Yeah. The spirit of Evan runs through me.
That's right. It's a bit of a consolation prize being able, and doesn't even end up actually getting away. 3-0. Kanga up over the Renegades now. Honestly, Rhino, Chronix taking this one over. Evil Eye's had a big game, doing a lot of damage. Joel's as well. I mean, the slash lines don't necessarily always correlate the damage. Joel's has had a great game up to this point. Yet again, the Invocal story, 7-3, but on the losing end. I think you've made a good point, is that, you know, a lot of those kills are going on to maybe squishier, less important targets, whatever that may be. The Renegades got to figure something out here because this payload's getting close to ending this game.
Yeah, I want to see how they use the Lex ultimate here. It should be really powerful into the Torb. They're just actually walking in. They don't need it. Find 3 kills on this side. Chronix still trying to poke out on Evoli, getting these, Invocal, getting these long-range pokes that you couldn't really get quite with Lex before. Shoutouts to the new Death Hastens really opening things up for him. They should be setting up in a really strong zoning position, get some dismounts, and burn whoever touches the cart. That's what they need to focus on now. I mean, they also need to start burning some ultimates. Renegade's probably going to start with a Hyper Beam, but I don't know what else they can really do.
They have so much time to burn as well. I mean, this is a minute and 20 seconds left and no room for error. Midnight as well. That's going to allow Invocal to find the first kill up and over the con. Invocal with a double kill off screen here. Shadow going toe-to-toe with Rhino right now. Not finding the kill yet. The Shout's going to buy a little bit of time. End up going back to base anyway. The double kill for Shadow, a double kill for Invocal. Maybe 3 in this fight. Hero's going to round this one out, but still a minute left. They had to use the Midnight Illusory Rift, I believe, was used as well. Kanga still plenty of tools to put this one in.
Yeah, if you told me Midnight was nerfed, I wouldn't believe you.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
It's been very, very influential in this set. I mean, anytime you do it, it either you think, oh, I can just CC immune it, but that usually forces some form of cooldown. You know, Inara DRs, Dompa Slithers, there's something being used to get rid of it, and it forces so many resources from that. Overpower being used. They're pretty confident in this push. Inflame as well. They want to convert this right now. Hyper Beam to counter. Chronix can't slide out of that. Invocal trading the kill, actually. The Inflame might be making things go Renegades' way with the over-aggression from Kanga.
Yeah, almost, but Chronix is able to inch things just back a little bit, trying to stay alive. The bowling balls is going to help him do it. Chronix with another double kill in this one. Shadow, the King Bomb into Joel's, finds him an extra kill as well. Evil Eye up and over. Can he find the shot onto Shadow? No, the healing is too good. 5 seconds left, and overtime is going to start.
Yeah, Shadow finding that trade on Evoli, barely missing those shots. Kanga's going to disengage. I'm not sure if they're going to want to be able to convert. No, the timer runs down. Renegades takes it 3-1 with a actually decent ultimate advantage, I think, going into the third mid.
Whew. You're happy that you held on to that one if you're the Renegades. Kanga were looking very dangerous there for a moment. Maybe a little over-aggression even that you stated. I mean, the Inflame came out. Kanga really far forward very quickly, and it did not pan out for them.
Yeah, Renegades have a lot of healing, and it's kind of hard for the Willow to find an angle to dead zone a target there, unless they find that Inara, just like they did on that first capture. You know, they found the Inara a little overextended. Evoli rotated over to get the angle to dead zone him, but where Evoli was standing, he couldn't get a solid hit. They were able to just sustain through the Inflame damage and show the strength of their composition, I think. It's a lot of raw sustain.
I love seeing Chronix play the Lex as well. Very versatile player. Certainly his name should be up there with some of the more flexible folks in the league. Wrecker 3 for Shadow, finally built out. Wrecker 2 for Chronix, Wrecker 3 for Evil Eye. So this Torvald bubble's a little less lengthy this time around as we jump into it. Kanga 1 point cap away. Renegades taking this game, but Renegades forcing them back just for the moment.
Yeah, Renegades looking really solid. They started with just a really quick push, Seismic Crash, get the immediate pick. They just need to forward zone here. They do have the double comeback mechanic. 4 points per tick instead of the standard 3, but they might have an opening down mid, actually. No one watching left. Rhino getting really close on his mount. Can Shadow trade that out? I'm not sure. We cut back to Evoli spamming the point. They have to stop capping. Kanga might have a chance to retake this with his Faith Flight here.
This is what they're looking for. Damage going onto the healer. Viral as well on the back line is going to blink away to one of the opposite clones. You heard Illusory Rift come out as well. Health bars are going to stay nice and healthy just for a few seconds, but no more healing from the Illusory Rift. Shadow luckily is able to find the opening kill. Evil Eye as well. He's getting called out by Invocal right now. The daggers are good. The King Bomb starts rolling through. He gets one on the Chronix as well. Kanga, though, they're still fighting from the point. 90% is where they're going to stall out. Renegades win this fight and maybe win point number 2.
Shadow racks them all up. Strike with that King Bomb, finding Chronix, taking him down. They're almost definitely, there's no way they can touch it. At this point, Kanga going to have to resettle, set up for their defense. They're probably not going to use any ultimates on this defense. Even if they lose this, it is still 3-3. They have a chance, and Renegades will lose comeback mechanic for that too. Rhino, though, finding every single headshot straight through. Wanted to spray on Shadow. Establish a little bit more dominance while Chronix just runs it down to mid. Those inflamed headshots are so insane. The amount of pressure he can put on is crazy. Chronix coming out of that with a triple kill. Fully shaking his head no at the Renegades, denying their opportunity.
Yeah, no, you're not going to push it in this quickly. It seems like Chronix every single fight so far this game has had at minimum a double kill. This time around a triple kill to stall out this payload push, doing a little bit of what the Renegades did to them last time around, just pushing nice and far out into their base. They do elect to use a few ultimates, but with a minute and 45, you imagine a lot of those will be up and ready for the next mid-fight if this one will go that far, regardless of whether the Renegades push it in or not. Just some intermittent kills here. Kanga, honestly, I think they'll be happy to just trade out. They'll be okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything that stalls this out is good for Kanga right now.
Charges ultimates. That's what they want to do. Like I said, I don't think they're going to spend anything. Maybe they could spend like the Fae Flight right now. It charges pretty quickly. Some Willows even buy morale boost. They have a couple options here. They're just going to rotate back to the tree, get ready to spam down defensive positioning. Voli not electing to buy morale boost quite yet. 42 creds in the bank, though. Probably have enough to get a buy by the time the next round starts.
Pretty heavy resilience priority from Kanga as well. Trying to buy them a little bit of extra time. King Bomb, Seismic Crash, all that sort of fun stuff gets clipped by
Midnight as
the
well.
Resilience. Midnight, of course, on top of that. Evil Eye staying alive, dropping Hero in this case.
Good control.
The Illusory Rift, though, does get used here from Viral. Just trying to break this line from Kanga. Not quite sure on the recharge rate. Likely it will be close to being up ready for that next mid-fight.
Usually a lot of Yings buy morale boost as well, so that goes pretty quickly. Joel's actually getting caught on a point a little bit too forward by the wall from Hero, manages to get out. They have time to sit back and reheal, though. Like I said, their combo's a little sustaining. He can back up, reheal, and then get ready to move once they're full up. Hopefully they can find some quick burst with the field study for them. Kanga hoping to find a pick on their side. They have a lot of burst, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Willow Lex, so looking for
Shadow
was getting caught out here in mid, too. Barely gets saved by the Tor Bubble.
And a lot of these fights have gone the way of Shadow either being able to stay alive or being the first to die. Trading out with Chronix here. Chronix still alive, notably, and the double kill. I said he always finds a double at least. Does that this time around. Jules is going to clean that one up. Likely Kanga going to another mid-fight to maybe end the game here. Just a formality on Hero to round this one out. Every ultimate except for the Illusory Rift for Renegades. Every ultimate except for none up for Kanga right now. They're going to look to end this game right here.
I have a feeling we're going to see quite a few of these rolling double kills if Lex stays in that meta.
Sure.
You can see his burst damage. He's going to get tons of cleanup. I mean, 1,000 damage headshots. In this damage amp-focused meta, going to go up to like 1,200. I think 1,240 was the number earlier, right?
It's quite a bit.
With the Luminary and the field study.
Yeah.
That's scary. That two-shot's almost any, even fully health-kitted supports.
Yeah. That's almost enough. I mean, that's enough effectively to two-shot a Torvald bubbled shatter, a non-Torvald bubble, I should say. Bomb King, 2450 is where his health bar stands with maybe some extra health cards on his side. But it seems like the Renegades have kind of lived and died by whether or not Shadow dies immediately in a lot of these fights. If he's able to get the King Bomb off, find a pick maybe, seems they have a much better chance.
That's because of their positioning on mid, I think. They're usually playing really far left, so he can't bubble and vocal if he wants to. Looks like they're sitting more in the middle now, trying to get some angles. Overpower does connect. I can't see who it was. Must have been Hero.
Yep.
Really solid trade there, and Vocal going to go down too. Kanga looking really strong at the start of this fight, and they're getting cap time. I actually don't know if Renegades even have a chance to come back. Moonchopper cannot die here for that to happen.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's going to be able to. It's one lowly Torvald against the world. 75% for Kanga, ticking upwards every single second. Renegades don't have a lot of time. 87% now is where it stands. If they're able to get the dismount on Invocal, I'm not sure he's going to be able to get in. The dash is not in time. And Kanga, they seal it up. A 4-2 victory on Bright Marsh to go up 2-0 in the set.
Kanga had a great plan going into that mid. I mean, immediately pull Hero, get cap time right from the start. Torvald really can't contest the point. If he does, he's just going to get shredded, especially with the Wrecker online.
Yep.
Renegades looking a little dejected after that. I mean, that was their pick I mentioned before. They're down 2-0.
I mean, that's got to be tough. I mean, you have a little bit of off time from the MSI. Obviously, they're grinding upwards. Kanga taking an early exit from the MSI as well. But we were kind of talking about this on Frog Isle. This is obviously a team that wants to stick together, wants to get better. They have the potential there to win a lot of these games, but just not going in their favor up to this point today. Another loss that, you know, you might argue they should win. It was a 4-2, I believe, on Frog Isle, 4-2 on this map. So they're right in there. No. They're just not finding those final fights.
They're confirming some points. They're confirming some caps. They just have to be able to turn that into an actual W, something they've been struggling with all season.
Well, both teams' map picks go the way of Kanga. They're up 2-0 here in our third set of the day. Before we jump to set 3, we're going to jump to a break.
SteelSeries, the official peripheral provider of the Paladins Premier League.
Well, Kanga does it once again. They maintain their control coming through this set. And unfortunately for Renegades, it looks like even though you can roll back to split 1, this is the one they win. They might not quite be able to close it out. It's only been 2 maps, though, so we're only halfway through the minimum number of games that could happen if Kanga continue this tear. So Renegades still have their chance to bounce back.
And even looking at what Kanga have managed to already show us is a couple of the picks that have really surfaced here in Phase 2, a.k.a. the Willow and the Lex are the biggest 2 in my book anyway.
Yeah.
Kanga are the ones that have shown us something. They are the ones that appear to have been adapting and evolving with this meta. Renegades still have yet to show anything new. They're down 2 games. It's a little bit concerning that they lose their map pick. Each team is guaranteed at least 1 map pick through the first 2 games. Big thing that I do want to note about Chronix's performances on Lex, though, man, did it without the pocket, without the damage amp, still fragged.
And did it against the pocket. That's, I think, the other big thing to look at is that
Big
Torvald
true.
was on the other side. So Shadow, that 103,000, it's impressive, but it was with some damage amp, whereas the 81, the 89 was done the good old-fashioned way, just burning down anyone that happened to stand in their way. But I think the biggest thing to look at is, well, going to be the 25 and 19 or the 0 and 10. I don't know which one to zone in on because both of them impacted this game heavily.
The 20 and 5 is the big one for me. Chronix goes almost straight to Wrecker 3, gets that one off. It's pretty convincing too, and it's kind of a cool thing that sometimes when you have such high burst damage, you almost don't need Cauterize. If you can't react fast enough to the damage you are taking, then you're probably not going to get any heals. The fact that he's able to just kind of plow through these Torvald bubbles, quickly strip the shield off of Torvald himself, and go right on through. And again, man, 20 and 5, that is just downright impressive. I mean, nothing really about it. You look at their healer. Furia can't heal him through walls. He had no damage amp. There was really not a ton helping him do this. Rhino has a great game as well, and I think he's positioning well behind his off tank. But overall, I don't want to take anything away from the performance. Chronix, he killed it.
A lot of this is stuff he was able, able to accomplish it on
your
his
shots,
own. Did not need everybody else. But I love the way him and Rhino were playing off of each other for a lot of this game because I think it opened up the door for that success to be more widespread. Like if Rhino isn't there for most of those plays, maybe it's not 20 and 5, maybe it's 20 and 12. Right?
Yeah,
you have a
true,
couple more deaths
true.
knocked on there. So the way they're playing off of each other obviously shows a lot of teamwork and a lot of practice coming down. And, we talked about Na'Vi and Envy getting knocked out of MSI round 1 when they started playing. But Kanga was in the same boat. Granted, they were knocked out by SSG, so maybe it was a little more like, well, we kind of expected that.
Yeah.
But that's still kind of a wake-up call to be like, you know what, we still have some work to do. And based on what I'm seeing, they've been putting in the work for this split.
Well, this will be the selection of the Renegades as they lost game number 2, but Kanga Esports winning a 4-2 on Bright Marsh. They just did it. This is as close as 2 maps could be on the spectrum to one another. Very comparable. A lot of the same drafts are going to work on Jag that work on Bright Marsh. If Kanga can get something as good or better, I don't really see what changes here. But already Torvald is going to take a seat for the Renegades, so no Pocket Bomb King there. And this would be, you could run Pocket Bomb King on this map. Don't get it twisted. Still his best map. He may not be the character he once was, but ain't nothing changed about the matchup.
Either way, what I love that Kanga has been doing, and actually Renegades it's been bouncing back and forth between them. First map, Eevee is that 4th ban. Second map, it's Genos that comes through, and it's always been like the first pick, banning that away. But here going for the Cassie, one of the biggest things we were talking about through Split 1 was playing with the bans and banning out things that are going to be good on the map, but still letting you, put up, if you're second pick, 3 big choices instead of 1 big choice or 2 big choices. Because Renegades, if you leave Atlas open here and Makoa, then, they're probably going to grab one of one. You are guaranteed the other, plus an Ashe, unless you ban that away.
Cassie is that perfect character to pull that off with as well, because she is rock solid, no pun intended, as Anara gets banned out. But she's so A+, you know what I mean? She's plug and play in almost any draft. Couple of little nerfs about that got onto big game as well on a somersault, which is every pro has that card in their loadout at this point. So it's essentially a nerf to the core of what Cassie is. But she's not like that first pick take over the game. She's top 3 for sure, but I don't think ever been first pick this year. So she's absolutely rock solid to just get out of the draft for the purpose of keeping things open, like you're mentioning.
And the same thing goes. Drogo's not normally someone who gets banned away, but definitely going to be map-centric. Can target out Evil Eye a little bit, but you leave open, well here I wouldn't be surprised to see Makoa Khan or Makoa Ash coming through after the Renegades lock in that Atlas. Do you think, this is actually kind of a debate, I mean, Kresnik had mentioned it, and it's something we've been seeing. Makoa is very consistently good. Is Atlas worth picking over Makoa?
I think if your Atlas player is good, I think Atlas is much harder to play than Makoa.
Yeah.
But like we said, both of those characters have enemy displacement. They just do it through slightly different ways. Atlas through the setback, Makoa through the dredge anchor. If you miss setback, though, you have a lot left to offer that team fight than Makoa does if he misses dredge anchor.
Sure.
That's kind of my take. Their ultimates, obviously Ancient Rage is godlike. Exile is good, but just hasn't quite been unlocked because I don't feel, it's almost like it's not even necessary. The rest of that damn kit is so good. A lot of times, people just lean on that. They haven't been forced to lean on Exile yet, so I think, you know, we have our top 3 Atlases in the league, Rhino, Phoenix, and Diggy. First one of them to really start to pop off and get really good with Exile, I think will probably take that top spot in my mind.
Well, they go forward, moving on. Again, Khan was picked up there. Now they actually grab Grover.
That's a scary 4 to have running at you, bro. I don't know.
There's a lot of control, a lot of damage.
That's big boys.
And all I can think when I see that draft, like, you can cover it up, and that feels like a lot of Kanga.
Yeah.
To me. Maybe you could throw in some NIP flavor on there because they've been playing the Grover a lot lately. I think Virtus Pro have kind of put there in there. But like Grover feels very at home to me for Kanga. Whether they want to run it as a support, like this is the other glorious thing. What we saw earlier, Grover gets locked in. You're like, oh, cool. They're going to have like Grover support. This could be fun. Then they locked in Ying anyway, and you're like, all right, Ferocity Grover.
Yeah. And an interaction that I kind of want, it's frankly a counter pick at this point. Kresnik actually brought this up to me that there was a change not too long ago. And I'll be honest, I haven't been paying attention to Lex changes for quite some time now. Sure. The Law destroys shields. Dome shield goes out. The Law goes out. That Dome shield is gone in the next second. So that is a kind of a tough counterplay that I don't know if the Renegades have exactly planned for. Lex is too new. He's never been in the meta before, and like I just mentioned, that is a new effect on his ultimate. So if it's not something they're super aware of and playing around, it's something they're going to be abused on. And I hope we get to see it. It wasn't on camera. It happened once today already. Destroying the Dome shield with the Lex ultimate has happened once. I want to see it actually caught on camera today. That would be a real treat.
Well, they do go forward. Makoa, Khan, Grover, one thing you said, there are a lot of big boys on there, and someone who's good at dealing with big boys is going to be Tyra.
Whoa.
Pumpkin can put his name in there as well.
Whoa.
But that...
I was going to say, dude, I have no idea what I'd round this out with. So I guess that's as good as anything.
There you go. I mean, I don't know what to say about Talus other than the only time I've really gotten to see him lately is on console. I'm excited to see him on PC
He
again.
shreds, man. I think... realistically, he's a character that can just shred. He's going to keep up with Makoa and Khan.
Yeah.
He's just going to be a part of that bulldozer, dude. I don't really know what else to say about it. Like his kit's pretty simple. He drops down the rune, plays around being able to teleport back and forth to safety. He doesn't necessarily scream hard counter to any of the things that the Renegades have necessarily picked up. He's going to get in there and mix it up, and I think that's what Kanga are looking to do. This comp is going to roll around together, and you better believe they're going to be getting it.
Well, I'm excited to see what's going to be coming through. Jaguar Falls is the map. Dave and Kresnik are your casters. Let's see how they feel about this Talus.
Yes, we are. I'm feeling pretty good about the Talus, but Kresnik, I'll give you the floor as the local Chair 2 analyst here for game number 3.
Yes.
How do you feel about the Talus Lex that we see coming in?
It's a very aggressive composition. It's also like a straight up like PCL composition, right? Like really, really forward, hit scan, double forward kind of. But I don't know, it could be really solid. I think this is kind of to abuse the Tyra and the BK, because if you can kill them before they can burst you down, or if you can just get away for free, you know, there's a lot of quick ground immobility, and that's what Kanga's going to look for. I think they're going to look to be very forward here.
That's Evil Eye rocking the Talus this time around, the best Talus skin by far. Anything in his card loadouts jumping at you? Anything surprising you? Oh,
this is
15
pretty
health
standard.
already.
Yeah, extra speed. Yeah, barely getting knocked down. Talus really, really squishy, even though he wants to be in your face. You have the really good timing in that rune. Looks like the Temporal Divide shield actually keeping them slow, backing them up, but looks like they want to keep putting the pressure on. Both DPSs moving together, actually looking for a pick.
Yep.
Shadow might be what they find, popping out, barely getting the rune out in time, but Moon gets caught in. Managed to trade it though barely as Kanga settles to wrap around them here.
And Evil Eye is living on the edge right now. Has escaped twice, once with 15 health, once with about 80. A lot of very close quarters combat almost going on right here. You'd expect Shadow to maybe be getting a few more kills here in this case. Void Grip goes up on one side. Hero ends up getting killed, although he finds, or excuse me, wow. I got that all backwards. Evil Eye dropped off Hero, drops the Rune of Travel, goes out and tries to get a little bit more aggressive.
Renegades need to clump a little bit more here, I think. Anyone that gets left alone is getting completely picked off. That's kind of the whole point of Kanga's comp. They're just going to pick off the solo players. Like, they're trying to group in mid now to touch, but they find Shadow on the side, gets pretty low. Actually catches Rhino with the Poppy. What a Poppy bomb from Shadow. Evoli gets the Rune Force early, so now they can push this Talus, but it looks like they're a little tentative. They don't want to go in.
Kanga at 87, now 90%. Evil Eye as well. Chronix and Evil Eye combining for 2 kills. Shadow's still alive, but it's not enough to win this one. As well as the true power flies through. Shadow's able to get the kill, though. Evil Eye just a little bit too deep, but Kanga, they'll be happy. They get point number 1 and are now pushing this payload for point number 2.
Yeah, Kanga's selling. Actually, Rhino diving on the right to try to get him to the Tyra, I think. Manages to find her too. Can he get away? The speed boost from beyond the veil, getting Rhino in and rewound super low, healing completely negated. It's just a trade though. Renegades aren't really on the forward foot now. The spawns are still really close because of the defender advantage. Moonchopper getting some poke here on the side, but that Lex is going to force him out.
Renegades do not want to give up even a small inch of this payload right now. Shadow has to be careful. He has been able to trade out a few kills here, but Evil Eye is deep in the backline. Rune of Travel in, Rune of Travel out. No kills just as of yet. About half health. The healing from Grover is good, but Hero's going to see to it that Evil Eye does not get to play this game anymore. At least not for 5 more seconds. Good defensive stand here from the Renegades.
The dome shield from Hero there was really solid, I think. It made it so they had to look on the other side. Hero was getting a free poke. Ended up with the double kill. Chronix has to jump off the map to not stagger himself. No, that was not a play mistake. Actually, Ancient Rage coming out kind of late from Rhino just to get the kill on Invocal. I think they might want to try to convert this off of a stagger. Temporal Divide Shield coming out, but Rhino's just going to bully on the right, hooking, probably forcing the rewind if he gets enough damage here.
Well, they have set up the stagger if they're looking for it. Whirlwind as well. You're right. It looks like Kanga really going for this one here. Whirlwind tops off those health bars as they continue their ride forward. Overpower is ready. They could just eliminate one member of the Renegades if they're able to hit it properly. Shadow needs to stay alive, but Chronix hits the long-range shots. The Bomb King is no more as his payload inches ever closer.
I wonder what Kanga's going to be able to use here. I mean, maybe they use the true power to try to convert a kill, but I don't know what other else they have to keep this going. Renegades also with 4 in the tank. Are they willing to spend, or do they want to go down 2-0? We're going to have to see. 2 and 2. Perfect split here on the offense here. Moonchopper forcing them back on the right. Might find the Talus, but Rune of Travel gets Talus out. He rewinds out himself as Kanga settles to get a repush in a couple seconds when they're rehealed.
They still got time. 24 seconds left. The hook is good onto Moonchopper here, but the crossfire from Invocal just a little bit better. Chronix still alive, though. He's still on the backline doing so much damage. The King Bomb rolls through. Joel's falls. Chronix with the double is able to answer things back just a little bit. Hero dancing back and forth behind his shield right now, getting a little bit of healing. 7 seconds is all that's remaining. Still ultimate's ready. Evil Eye needs to find some kills. Needs to find them cleanly. Rune of Travel in. Rune of Travel out. No more kills just as of yet as overtime begins.
Yeah, I mean, crazy pressure here. Hero and Moonchopper actually finding 2 kills. I think this is going to be over for Kanga. Just Chronix remaining. Gets a little bit of poke on the shield, a little bit of poke on the Atlas. All it's going to do is get him closer to the ult. And it settles down. Renegades 1-1. And I honestly think Kanga are happy for this.
Yeah.
Because their comp isn't, when you look at their comp, you don't think, well, they need ults to win.
Sure.
You think they just need to find a pick.
Yeah, they just roll together and find somebody.
Yeah, exactly. Renegades spent way more ults than Kanga did. So
Yep.
Kanga's feeling pretty good about that, I think. I think they're happy with their chances to convert here.
This is the dome shield that you thought was pretty good. Stalled things out. Shell spin rolling through. Good shots onto Evil Eye as well, finally dealing with that pesky Talus. We've now seen 2 points worth of Talus on this map. What's your initial prognosis of the Talus in this game?
I think it's doing pretty solid. I think he's pushing his boundaries a little bit on some of these fights, like when he ignored the tank to go for Shadow. Talus does a lot of damage. He doesn't do that much damage. Right. When you're in the middle of 4 people, you're not going to be able to find that. I want to see Evoli kind of towing the line a little bit more, getting that mid-range overpower damage. I think that's kind of how you have to play him in the PC environment.
He's done some good damage up to this point. Unfortunately, the first one to fall here, that's a good snipe from Viral. Dome Shield goes down onto the point. Chronix, no law to eliminate that one. Shadow, a double kill. The Bomb King finally starting to heat up just a little bit Kanga, the one member is Gera, and he has to back off, has to vine away. And Renegades finally look like they have a midpoint figured out.
Yeah, really solid start from Vio there. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he threw time and space with the Rune of Travel. I think it was a good time and space kill. So really, really good forward thinking from Viral, and that's kind of what they needed. Like I said, Kanga, they're not worried about ultimates. They are if you hit crazy ones like that. This is going to go.
True.
This is absolutely going to go Renegade's way with the really forward zoning here. Kanga's still not even out of their base.
What a fight back from the Renegades. Not going down easily. King Bomb as well. I mean, they use the Exiles to solve things out. Kanga, no chance to really use any ultimates. I'm not sure they had that many. I guess they might have. They just got staggered out a little bit. Another double kill. Call that value. Couple auto attacks. That's all he needs to find a double. Back goes Kanga back into their base. Luckily, Jules is able to get one Evil Eye back with a little bit of healing from Grover as well. Keeps himself alive. 2 minutes left on this payload push, but it's already halfway.
The clumping is really good. You kind of need to with Grover, but when you're clumping that hard into a BK, I mean, he has to be your first target. You have to find a way to get into him, and when they get just ulted on like that, it's going to be really rough. Really good bait from Moonchopper there, actually. Going to get away too, forces them forward, but they find Shadow in the meantime.
Wow, they don't get him. Or they're gonna get him, right?
They're gonna have
the hook! Oh, it doesn't get him! Oh my!
Two for
Moonchopper.
one.
He stays alive. I was for sure they were gonna get him. They do, but he trades out on the back end of it. Still, Kanga are the ones that are coming out on front, or on top, I should say, in front. Either way you want to put it. Jules with the double seals this one up. 1:15 now. Payload is going to inch just a little bit further back. But now you look at Kanga, what they have on the board. Ancient Rage, True Power, the Law, of course. Renegades now have the ultimate advantage. They could use a little bit and make this one 3-1, but they're going to rely on maybe a couple of picks first.
Yeah, I mean, with this timing left, I don't think they want to. With Vocal Fight Jules, maybe they want to spend now, but I don't think they need to. This fight's looking really clean. They're just going to trade one for it. Evoli's definitely going to go down. Clean wipe for Renegades. They're going to move forward. No ults used. They only have Exile down. I'm not sure if they want to spend
it's
here.
That weird balance.
That. It's such a weird balance. Like, you could go up 3-1, then you don't have ults, and they have double comeback and ults.
Right.
I could see them playing a little conservative here, but maybe they just feel like they need to go for the throat. You know, you're a team.
You need to get your points where they are.
Wins.
Right.
This game last season was your one win.
Right.
Are they willing to go for the throat, hit that gas pedal to make it happen again?
Well, sometimes you might need to. You hear Evil Eye firing away on the Talus in that back line. Finds the first kill. Going toe-to-toe with Chronix here. Isn't Vocal. Slide around the corner, but he's able to dash out and stay alive. Hero has 3 in this fight. Shadow as well finds the angle. He has a couple as well on top of it. The Bomb King starting to fire. 5 seconds left and Kanga are staggered.
Yeah, absolutely. Renegades, really clean fight there too. They've had a lot of clean fights this entire thing. King Bomb coming in. They're willing to spend that. Quick trade onto Rhino. They can't touch it all.
Wow.
Yeah, just really good. That temporal divide completely protected them. The back lines on Kanga couldn't do anything there.
That was honestly great value. I mean, you trade a King Bomb for a point. I mean, I'll take that. I'll take that 7 days a week. Still have 4 ready for this next mid-fight. Joel's on the side of Kanga, was able to stall things out a little bit here towards the middle of that defense. Not just enough in the long run to do it. Kana's kind of been in that weird flex spot. Maybe Kana's more important, maybe Ash is more important. Pretty good, though, still here on Jaguar Falls, and Joel's has played it very well.
Yeah, I mean, maps like this, Kana's still going to do a lot. Any map without verticality, you can't really spam over him as much, especially since, actually, you can get spammed by the BK, so he has maybe some struggles there, but still, vertical, they don't really have too much of an advantage. They can't really spam over him. He can get a lot more sustain than you would be able to on some maps like Stone Keep.
Ooh,
very
just
rough.
wide.
Well-timed
just
shield
wide,
there.
yeah, definitely. Definitely well-timed shield there. Joel's not able to get the pull. That cooldown is going to go back to 50%. Through time and space doesn't find anyone either. Rhino was 2-10 at the start of this round on the Makoa. A tough start from your first priority pick. Now 3-10 with that pick, but Shadow has started to take this one over for the Renegades. Crossfire from Invocal as well is going to start ripping through the lineup of Kanga, but he's just going to use it maybe as a bit of an exfil, get himself out, keep himself healthy as Kanga are back on the point. True Power, though, goes flying into the back line.
Yeah, True Power coming in to get Shadow, manages to find him. That's a huge problem for Kanga. They managed to take him out, but Renegades trade him for 2. That's worth it for them. Kanga's going to have to play really careful. Garrett getting dove in the back line, too. Probably going to trade out as well. Evoli has to reload, can't save Rhino in time, can't even save himself. Tyra there, finding the trades. Renegades look in a solid place to end this game right now.
Yeah, and they're in a great spot, 75%. The Exiles as well, that's going to stall them out. He has 2 more shots on top of this one, hits that one. 1 more goes into the shield, but it might not be enough, might not be enough time. 99%, and the Renegades are able to find a win.
Yeah, very, very good play from them. That exile at the end was great for Moonchopper. He really established himself this game. Moonchopper actually playing really solid, I think, on the Atlas across the board. Great baits, great shields, great ults, and you don't normally say that about Atlases.
That's tough, I think. You know, you come off a Bright Marsh game where you're playing Torvald and you're like 0, 10, 18. You have to, I think you said it pretty well. You have to consider that that's Torvald, right? Like, my role is to just put shields on people and, you know, maybe nullify here and there. But a good bounce back from Moonchopper. I mean, it's never easy regardless of the champion you're playing. If you go 0, 10, and 18, that's never an easy thing to bounce back from. But definitely an integral part of the Renegades win today.
Yeah, absolutely. They need to show their mental fortitude here.
I guess today, it is today.
It is still today.
You're right.
Contrary to popular belief.
It's not tomorrow yet. I mean, if this goes much longer.
If this goes to Game 10, it might be tomorrow.
That's right.
But for now, it is still today. Renegades starting to strike back in this set. They're going to need to show their mental strength here. I mean,
that's right.
They've been down. They've been up 3-0 and lost. They got to stay strong.
That's right. 3 games in the books, 1 win for the Renegades as we head into a break prior to Game 4.
Skillshot, the official production partner of the Paladins Premier League.
Well, welcome back, everyone. Renegades now have a point on the board, kind of showing that they are still here to hang. They're not going to give it all up to the Kang Gang. Either way, they are set up in this position. It's still 2-1, and so this is actually one of Dave's favorite areas to go into because this next map can determine a tie and can kind of keep pushing us forward to 6, potentially 7 games, whereas if it goes 3-1, it does kind of start to skew in favor of Kanga. So we're just going to have to see how they go, but it does go back to Kanga's pick, so kind of ball in their court.
Have to see where we end up for sure. It's a great bounce back from the Renegades. We'll take a quick peek at the post-game stats. I'll be honest, I thought Kanga was about to run away with this one again. Chronix got off to a pretty hot start there. But at the end of the day, shutting it all down was Hero at 103,000 damage on Barrack. Kind of head and shoulders above the rest of his squad.
So my man, he's out here doing 80,000 shielding, doing over 100,000 damage. And he spent like 2-3 full minutes on the objective. Like, he put on a backpack for that. 13, 3, and 14. Like, that makes a big difference. Like, yeah, Shadow 12, 3, and 9. It looks good stats wise, but when you look at what Hero did, like, Hero was the true carry for this game.
And on top of that, after the game, what's very important to me is he's up there, he's running down the line, hyping everybody up, giving, you know, fist bumps and pats on the shoulder. Somebody needs to be that leader for the Renegades, you know what I mean? Part of, you know, a team's success is having a guy like Phoenix for Navi come in, you know, be a big motivator, be a positive attitude, make jokes, make people smile, make people laugh. The Renegades have had a tough shake of things, man. They've been in this league for a long time, and at no point have they been a successful team, so they need to have somebody to stand up and to take control, take these reins, and just be a leader for them. And if Hero's going to be that guy, then so be it. I think this is a damn good performance. He looked like a leader, act like a leader, walk like a leader, talk like a leader. He must be a leader.
I mean, I can't imagine anybody being able to do this. Like, I mean, Barrack, we've seen him make some plays, but to do what Hero just did in that game, like, is to truly take the reins and take control and kind of keep things moving forward. If you play like that every game, there's no way Renegades don't start rising up,
dude.
but
Every stat.
everything was all him. And so coming up that way, I wonder, well,
Even, you remember
how high they're going to prioritize Barrick now.
Remember when they were tossing him around in the dark? Like they hooked him, threw him into a commander's grab. Commander's grab flipped him over like into the lion's den, and that poor little guy, he swirled in a circle. He rocket boosted his way out of trouble, and his team won the fight because of that. I mean, there's like a moment you could point to Hero not only doing damage, but getting kills or capping the objective or being the tank. It's like really a phenomenal performance on all fronts for the character he was playing. Serpent Beach will be up next for Kanga. This is still a hole to climb out of for the Renegades. 2-1 leads Kanga, and they will look to try and turn this into a 3-1 lead here on Young Serpent Beach. This obviously is going to require both of these teams to shift gears a little bit. A lot of high ground on this map. They actually banned him out Dom. That just looks weird down there on the bottom left-hand side of your screen. Never used to seeing that.
It doesn't truly fit.
It's not a Bright Marsh. It's not a Jag. It's not a, flat wheelchair accessible map. You got to have some type of vertical mobility, whether it's a blink or a dash or an Inara wall, hell, to get you up onto that second tier where that does become relevant. Honestly, mostly during the payload push, but being able to go up-down during the point fight even is a very, very useful thing, especially around that waterfall. You see Eevee sometimes getting those little nests above the objective. Over on the sundial side of the map, there's just so much high ground on Serpent Beach. This might be the high ground map that you need to worry about.
And it's always an interesting one to bring different strategies. Specifically, like Jag Falls is the map where I think literally anybody can be played. Serpent Beach is one for good mobility flanks. Like this is one where, we saw Buck earlier. If someone's going to flex that out, this is a map that he can kind of work on. I doubt we're going to see that in this game compared to what we've been seeing out of these guys. I mean, a couple of Lex games, one successful, one not. So he's kind of riding that middle line right now for Kanga. But they do go right back to, I want to say, what's tried and true for them. They pick up that Ash.
Right to that Ash, and I love it. I think Kanga, both Rhino and Joel, I prefer them on Ash than Khan, frankly. So I'm happy to let, Khan go to the Renegades if I'm Kanga, and I've been sort of watching their drafts. Completely unbiased opinion, by the way. I just think whatever it is, it's one of those nictistics. I just like to see Rhino specifically on this Ash over the Khan. And on Serpent Beach, I would say Khan, he doesn't really do it as much for me. I think given how much everybody tends to group at the start of point fights, that is extremely punishable by Ash Ultimate. There's really nowhere on the point fight to throw people off and get that insta-give with an overpower. So I really think Ash is kind of just the better selection.
They're going to go Barrett Khan on the other side again. I can't imagine trying to choose pretty much anybody for Hero after the game he just had. You want Barrick back, and since you banned out Atlas, again, flexing something for Moonchopper where you can come in and feel comfortable. But
even
like you were
with the
saying
dome
for
shield.
Kanga, like you get Ash, you're feeling pretty comfortable. I mean, at this point, you could go for another tank if you want someone who can sit on the point. You can go DPS. They're going to opt for the Maeve, the Genos. And again, it opens the door of, are we going to go triple DPS? Are we going to go kind of the standard 2-2-1? Like, where are we going to step, Renegades? You have to make a prediction here.
Most of the Maves in recent memory have been going Cat Burglar, I would say 8 or 9 times out of 10, but we did see Mutu went for the Street Justice once today.
Yeah.
That could be an option here against the Renegades. They have a double shielding front line, and the reason that's important is because Pounce goes through shields. So if those front liners fall below that execute threshold and try to throw their shield up to be defensive, including Dome Shield, you can just pounce right through it, kill that target, and that shield is going to drop. It looks like it will be the somewhat more standard double frontline composition for Kanga. Joel likely to pilot the Sonara, and the Cassie being locked down for Chronix.
The only downside to Inara in this kind of composition is, even though she's a healing sponge, Genos isn't quite the same amount of healing that you expect from, like, a Moldamba. And the biggest thing that kind of catches my eye, and I want to get your thoughts on this, we've seen Genos banned away in a lot of games as a support because of Luminary. Never has it been Moldamba, but with Furia in the mix, it kind of feels like a Moldamba ban. Like, it kind of falls on deaf ears, right? Where it's not really, I think, doing as much as I think it could be because you just pick the Furia now.
Yeah, I'll be honest, nothing's jumping out at me as to why they would ban Moldamba. It could be that just to keep something open, they didn't really want to lock down too much in the off-tank front.
Yeah.
And they wanted Cassie maybe. So Maldamba is another relatively plug-and-play character. Again, Genos is like, he's a very specific flavor to him, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
in terms of Damba, it's like Damba kind of has that high, you know, burst healing. Ying kind of has that. Furia kind of has that. Hell, even Saris kind of has that. And then it's almost like you look at their ultimates. It's like, you get that type of healing, and then what ultimate do you want to complement your high burst healing?
I
So
will bring an end to the darkness.
again, that's all because I don't really know. I'm with you. I don't really get the Damba band. I don't really see what they were going for too hard, but that's neither here nor there. These are the compositions. They're all pretty much locked in and kind of standard. This is kind of like, I feel like this is a very, very phase one.
Very, very phase one. Very, very tame Serpent Beach in my eyes as well. Like, nothing outlandish, nothing crazy. It is exactly what you would expect for a game 4. But hey, Renegades do keep themselves alive in this one. Kanga are looking to try and climb up, make themselves 3-1. So let's go down to Dave and Kresnik to see how they feel going into game number 4.
Thank you, gentlemen. Excited to get this one underway as well. I think standard's a good way of looking at it. You kind of have Maeve answered by Eevee, Cassie Leon, you know, all that sort of stuff. But the Damba ban still interests me. I mean, is it really, I mean, do you agree that it might just be a leave something else open sort of ban?
I guess it could be. I don't know. I don't see
know.
why you would do it against
Maybe if
Renegades.
they win, we can ask.
Maybe, yeah, in the interview, but I'm not sure why you would do it against Renegades. I feel like Viral has proven himself as a very strong Furia.
Sure.
At least if you want to point to specific evidence, the Renegades SSG, I thought his performance on Furia on some of the maps there were just very, very strong. Some of the best I'd honestly seen on Fury up to that point. So you're putting him on a comfort. They're pretty comfortable, I think, on most of their classes across the board, especially Hero after that performance last game.
Yeah.
I find it interesting. Could just be to leave something open, but we'll have to see how this draft goes.
I mean, Viral has shown us that he's good at Maldamba as well. I don't know if he's good enough, or anyone really is good enough to warrant a straight-up Damba ban. Maybe a Damba one trick, but we don't have any of that. At any rate, though, the Renegades are going to start off their fight here on Serpent Beach. Up here on this high ground, Evil Eye with a bit of a cheeky flank around the backside. He's going to have to dash his way out. That Eevee kind of Maeve 1v1 is going to be something interesting to keep the eye on, as the Renegades are already forced back.
Yeah, Rhino with really strong positioning up here on the top, keeping them completely pressured out. Ooh, Hero actually trying to find a way out, but goes right into the middle of the entire aggressive Kanga front line. Traded out for Joel's, but Kanga has the cap time here. Chronic's rotating back to spam if anything goes to point, but actually looks like they had to give up enough positioning where Renegades managed to take their high ground. They're looking really solid right now.
It was important that Kanga were able to get at least 33%, but you're right, the high ground in favor of RNG right now. Evil Eye again with the flank. The daggers all hit Shadow. Luckily, he's able to trade one out. Evil Eye, it's a 2-for-1 trade in favor of Kanga Esports right now. Heroes choosing to back off. Don't want to get too aggressive, especially when your team's at a numbers disadvantage. Kanga Esports with 45% now can try to retake this high ground. The jockeying for this high ground has been interesting to watch up to this point, but only 9% for the Renegades as Kanga eclipsed 70.
Yeah, Rhino resettling back on the right. Joel's also rotating to point.
Oh.
Blocked by Moonchopper. That was intentional, too. I'm almost positive. Moonchopper getting a lot of ground here, but they forgot about the point. Hero couldn't make it in time. Maybe too much CC, maybe too much just meat of characters in the way, but either way, the first round goes to Kanga. Renegades dropping like flies right now. Rhino on top of them. They just can't get away as Hero falls, too.
It's a very funny interaction. The shoulder bash ready to go, and then get down, Mr. President. He flies across the screen. Nothing ends up happening because of it, but Kanga does end up getting point number 1. Renegades have some ultimates. Their first round starting to charge as well as Kanga's. And it was kind of weird to look where Kanga were valuing almost a fight from the point up to the high ground, where Renegades kind of just walked up there but weren't able to hold it.
I think it was because of the Inara Genos. You have to end fights fast so that you put both tanks on the right, shove across. I mean, if that's your game plan, that's why they executed that way. I think that's why they gave up the cap time for it.
That's a beautiful Ice Storm as well. They do give up the cap time. They give up the point. 1.5 minutes left. This payload getting ready to round the final corner here. The Ice Storm stalling things out for the Renegades. Viral and Invocal are going to be the ones to clean up the kills here. One more onto Joel's. It's going to fully push Kanga back. They do have 3 ultimates ready. Assert dominance through time and space. Seismic Crash. Only the Overpower is ready for the Renegades here. 1 minute and 10 seconds left. Time and time again, we've seen throughout this set that both teams can make a good effort at pushing, even when overtime has begun. So while there's a minute left, still plenty of time for Kanga to get a lot of push progress made in this case.
Yeah, I like how Kanga's trying to address this. Joel's going on the right, climbing up to the torch room. That's something a lot of people don't know Inara can do that. You don't need Summit to take high ground on this map.
True.
Get on the rock under torch. You look towards Oasis, which is the backstairs area. Wall straight down. You can use the wall high jump little boost you get to make it up to the high ground. No Summit needing your Lara. You can still play all sustain. It's a really interesting way to take it. I've seen actually Inara's fail that jump before and have to go rotate to main. But still, controlling high ground, that's one of the only ways you can take this map. Otherwise, it's one of those maps that kind of always goes to 4-3 because of that.
Though I do love seeing Summit on Inara. That's always a very funny interaction to watch. Not going to happen this time around. The opening kill, though, in favor of Gera through time and space, does not find a kill here as they round maybe the final corner in Flame. Not ready yet, not going to stall things out. Evil Eye, the daggers are good. The execute is there as well. A double kill, a triple kill now for the Mave. Maybe make it a quadra. The daggers aren't going to hit. It doesn't matter, though. Kanga Esports push it in, and it's 2-0.
Ivoli's really feeling himself right now. That was some really, really solid shots. Also, their coordination, their focus fire. Hero was like, time to contest the point, and they just seismic crash. He was gone in an instant. That's a tank health bar with his shield. Not supposed to go down that fast. Oh, here we go. This is it. I don't think it happened quite like that.
Right.
But it was a perfect block. Yeah, close enough. It was a perfect block by Moonshot.
I was going to say, I mean, the question was whether that was intentional, and if there was any shadow of a doubt that it was. That's now, he was clearly aiming for that corner. And smart play. I mean, he was going in there to, again, maybe wouldn't have made a difference. They ended up capturing the point anyway, but smart play from Moonchopper.
He did his job on that side of the map. It's just Kanga had the rest of their focus on mid, which didn't let Hero get away with the pressure he wanted to. Midnight coming in from Renegades. Scout countering it from Renegades. Double pressure here. Ivoli getting a lot of good daggers here. He's definitely the one to follow with how hot he's feeling right now. Actually, Moon walled in, has to dash away. Kanga's going to have to get a little aggressive to clean this up, but not enough punishment from Renegades. The kills are still coming in, but Invoker gets, I believe that was a double enlightenment to finish it off. Kanga's going to try to get some last cap time, but this fight's going to Renegades.
Oh my, it was. I mean, it's back to 50% as Invoker falls. Only one is left alive. Only Rhino is left for Kanga right now. And the Renegades are going to put themselves on the point, try to stagger out Rhino. They're going to do that successfully. And now with fast cap, 4% per tick, they're eclipsing 60, now 70% for the Renegades.
Ivoli sitting on the side.
Use anything.
He will be able to get the touch here, probably going in just in case Joel's doesn't make it. Does it just in case security. That's not trusting your teammates, that's just being safe. His life gets traded for it, though. Joel's being fought here. Shadow pressuring on the side, trying to find some more kills. Ice Storm doesn't connect, but the Overpower does. They should be able to find Rhino here. Ice Block gets forced out, but Renegades using their ultimates very, very well. Cleaning this up, going to turn it to a 2-1.
That was so important for the Renegades. Going into that point, only the Enlightenment was used. It was reset to 50% because he did get a double kill with it. And Kanga used everything to try to take the initial point, and Renegades were able to weather that storm. They were able to get the kills and then have everything else just to secure that final point. It was 2-0. It was looking dire, but the Renegades in a very good position now to maybe even tie this game up.
The disengage, I think, from Renegades was what wanted there, because, Kanga pushed very aggressively off the top. They did lose Moon for it, but the fact that he had to take so much damage to die gave it to them, really good cancels from Invoker. What a solid headshot. Rhino getting caught out here too, but I think Renegades are keep finding the picks, unless, very solid spam in the door, saving Rhino's life. Gera looking for a hopeful through time and space.
It was hopeful.
I appreciate the enthusiasm. He is here for us.
That's right.
And I do welcome him for it.
He went fishing, cast his line off the side there, did not come up with any little fishies this time around. Renegades stalled out for the moment.
Fishy plays on VP.
That's right. You're right. That's probably why he didn't catch any, is because he's just not in this game. In general, 1 minute and 20 seconds as Payload rounds this corner here. Call it 50% of the way there. Still the Enlightenment is ready. The second round of ultimates starting to come up for the Renegades. Kanga do have the ability to defend with a few of their own if they choose to go there. Seismic Crash does end up coming out onto the low ground, and Jules opens up this fight with a kill as well.
Yeah, it was a triple actually there. Shadow trading with a Ivoli on the side, so it's 4-4 right now, but Shadow has to disengage. Basically a 3v4, 3v2. Not much, 4v2. Not much going on here. Hero barely holding on to life. Gonna try to get away, not gonna be able to get away. Defense so strong on this map. It's the high ground advantage you have.
You just
so
inherit
powerful.
it. You walk out of your base into, here, have some high ground. It's
like
free.
A spoiled child, like, oh, father.
It's free real estate.
The high ground today. Every single time they walk out.
It's free real estate, and that's all you can hope for if you're Kanga. little bit of mobility in the form of Eevee, I guess, in this case, so you can kind of try to take some of that high ground, but it's not really quite the same as your entire team just walking out into it as well. Rhino has the assert dominance, but with 18 seconds left, Shadow being the first to fall, he's dead for another five or so to get back to this fight. If they're able to stagger this one out a little bit right now, and Vocal's going to be the main target that you maybe try to identify and get him out of this fight. Hero, though, is going to be the next to go, and it looks like this offense, I should say, is stalled out, and the Renegades go fishing for another point.
It looks like Eevee managed to touch, but I don't think it's going to really mean too much. Maybe some more time for, actually, they have all their ultimates. Some more time for Kanga to charge their ultimates, I guess. They're probably pretty happy about that. 3-1 right now. Pretty good position to be in going into this mid with all their ultimates up, except for Seismic Crash. I think both defenses being so strong show the power of the...
good eye.
Shows what, for the triple Seismic Crash?
Yeah, good eye.
Yeah, they managed to hide around the corner there. I think it shows the power of like this default composition on this map, plus always looking for a vertical flank. Your vertical flank, you need it to pressure the top if you want to take it. If you're pushing your point tank, it has to be one of the main point tanks, or else you're going to get overwhelmed by the damage. You're surrounded. You need something to keep yourself alive, something to be able to kite into orange. Like, the default composition tends to be very powerful on this map. Even triple DPS sometimes faltering unless you go like a double vertical flank Mave Eevee kind of chaos comp.
And they're trying literally everything. The Renegades are trying to fight back into this one. 8-2, the Invocal story continues here in this one. Gara has through time and space, could seal this one up with a nice pick of his own as her dominance drops right into through time and space. Gara goes fishing, comes up with one this time, and it's a big one in the form of Moonchopper, and Vocal drops as well. Things are looking dire right off the bat for the Renegades.
Yeah, Ice Storm actually trying to catch Volley out, but he was a little too high in the air, and Volley manages to get away. Genosmar keeping him alive so he won't get shot through one thing. Shadow trying to find it, not going to be able to. Cap time going for Kanga, Volley pressuring up top. They have a pretty solid zone right now, but sometimes you can't stop them from touching on this map. They honestly just had to be ready, I think, to burn the point when they managed to get in.
Renegades, no Enlightenment, no Ice Storm, no Overpower. Kanga still have Seismic Crash to defend with. You have to burn him here if you got him. They're trying to flank around here off to the opposite side. That's a good flick shot onto Evil Eye. The Inflame as well could start things off, but there's a Seismic Crash down onto Hero. He's likely going to get burned out. Bowling Ball keeps him alive. Chronix with a double kill in this fight is starting to come alive right at the right time, and Vocal could be the next to go down if Chronix can find the shots. He does. Kanga do, and it looks like they're on their way to game number 3.
Solid ultimates from Kanga. I mean, they had such a good economy after that last fight. I don't think there was much Renegades could do. Kanga knew they couldn't stop them all from getting in. Hero found that opening on the side, snuck in, but they said, well, we have ults. We know what to do. We'll focus you down. Really good focus fire. They couldn't even find a solid kill through an Inflame. Kanga was just too ready.
That's tough. Hero was not necessarily caught out. I mean, he went right into a Seismic Crash there. He didn't have a lot of time to play with. You kind of needed to go right then and there. But honestly, I mean, the story of the Renegades is bright moments, but not almost a full, cohesive, bright game or set, I guess you could say. Like in that game, I mean, there are moments, right? Yeah, great example. You got some stars, you don't have a full galaxy. Kresnik hitting on his metaphors, not a simile. That's like or as. Already.
I'm sure Mixer Chat wouldn't say anything if you confused those, Dolson.
No, they would. No, they wouldn't. Either way, game 4 goes the way of Kanga this time around, and they're looking good. 1 game away here. That's why 2-1 is my favorite. 1 game away from taking our 3rd set of the day, potentially our least contested. If it goes 7, well, that's a different story. But before we can see if it goes there, let's send it to a break.
The Paladins Premier League is brought to you by Evil Mojo, developers of Paladins.
Well, they once again close it out. Much like that map, it was a 3-1. Kanga now are trying to do with their score what they just did, turn that into a 4-1 as they keep moving forward. But everything that they needed. I mean, Kanga looked really, really solid on Serpent Beach.
For sure. I mean, that was a really good 2-0 start into the defense. That's like yes, you have to lose that one payload to get there, but you're still feeling pretty good about that overall. It's easy enough to blame that second round on the comeback mechanic and just chalk up that good defense. Grab yourself that defensive point, put the damn game away. Very, very kind of impressed today overall with Kanga. Specifically, Evil Eye's been very good. I've liked Chronix's Lex performance. Both frontliners have shown really, really great, especially Joel in game number 1. I think Rhino was pretty phenomenal here on the Ashe. Gera, rock solid throughout, hitting a couple snipes along the way.
I am still ultimately impressed with Invocal. Going 8-4-6, like, it's not maybe the prettiest
it's kind
of his slash
uncanny,
lines,
dude.
but he was still top damage in the game. Like, it's just every single
It's
time.
kind of uncanny.
It's almost to the point where it might start bothering me soon if it keeps happening. Like,
It is.
It's been kind of funny, kind of campy, but now it is truly starting to happen very regularly. Unfortunately, his opposition here, Chronix, the other direct damage in the game, did just maybe a tweak better overall, having that 4.3 KDA, about 67,000 damage total, and he chose a lot of good angles to kind of tank and approach this point.
We've seen a lot of Lex out of him today, so we haven't gotten the chance to talk about Chronix and the Cassie, man. This was kind of his bread and butter. It was my favorite character to watch him play in phase number 1. He's a guy that has had to really step up for Kanga overall. Throughout the lifetime of him playing, he went from support, no, that was Alston that played support, I think, in the very first LAN.
Yeah.
So I think he's gone from DPS, played a little bit of support. I think the only thing he hasn't done is frontline for this Kanga roster, but he's, had to become kind of an in-game. Yeah, we'll see next year, baby. Had to become kind of an in-game leader for them. They've gone through a lot of change of hands on that front. You know, Diggy Dog kind of was doing that sort of thing for them until he got, kind of poached over to Europe to play for NIP. And Kanga got brought into the league. Well, that'd be such a weird thing if Kanga was still had Diggy Dog by the time they got into this phase of the PPL. But he's played a lot of different stuff.
What a world we'd live in.
He looked very good kind of along the whole way, and it is kind of doing that sort of in-game leading role for them as well. So much experience, so much success in the backstories of a lot of these Kanga members. They just got to be able to put it together a little bit more consistently.
Well, the Renegades have now opted to go to Frozen Guard. First time we're seeing this map in this split. And of the day so far, it's a solid one that has come through. But there's, I want to say, just a few teams that really favor. Like, I know Na'Vi like to go here, and IP tend to go here, but
Frozen Guard, yeah.
It's not really that popular of a map.
No, not overall. It's almost, well, I would say Fish Market is probably the new Ice Mines for my money. Even Timber Mill feels like people are starting to, yeah, like it's like really like the, oh, okay, I guess we have to now. Nothing can really be the new Ice Mines. Ice Mines was literally Ice Mines because you had to go there. You had no other choice. We have enough maps in the pool now to the point where it's actually somewhat of a conversation around, should we limit the rotation of competitively played maps, you know what I mean? Because now there are sets where you just don't have to see any map anymore. It's not the case. It used to be that way with Ice Mines, and that's where Ice Mines kind of got its meme reputation as that Game 7. Nobody really wanted to go there, but it was the only thing left.
I was joking with Dave, actually. I think it must have been this morning, because I was looking through and I was like, I wonder if we have enough maps where, like, competitively we could, take like 4 or 5 out. And I went through and I was like, we can do 3 total. And if you pull the players, it would be like Timber Mill, Fish Market, Ice Mines would just get pulled. Maybe not Ice Mines. Now it might be like Warder's Gate.
Yeah, I think Timber Mill and Fish Market for sure.
For sure. And then it's like, okay, well, then we ask, maybe the admins go through, well, you know what, we're going to get rid of like Jag Falls and Serpent Beach. Just be an interesting area to live in. But as of right now, we have, I think after 4 bans, 7 total maps if you go all the way in a best of 7. There's only 3 left over, so maybe we'll wait a little longer to pull the trigger on that one, although it isn't ranked. So I can't remember which maps it is, but there are 4 maps that are just kind of void that you won't see around there. Anyway, back to the draft. Atlas, Makoa, Barrack, all front lines all the time.
Yeah, and I think part of this heavy prioritization is because there's not a lot left. Khan, Torvald, Ashe, and Inara all taking a seat for frontline bans for this one. going the distance potentially here. Kanga could close out the day if they can just grab this W. Makoa and Barrick locked away. I'd say, frankly, overall, but all these frontliners are pretty solid for Frozen Guard. Atlas has the range to contest. I'll be most curious to see what talent they go for, though. I think there is merit to running Temporal Divide on this map.
Yeah.
It's not always the longest lines of sight types of maps, but what Temporal Divide can sometimes let you do, even on a shorter line of sight map, is make a team-wide safe rotation. You can really kind of cover up an area and take a lot of the map for free, especially if you start to learn those angles. Atlas could be a big, big boon to the Renegades roster on this map in particular.
This is actually an interesting scenario with the 4 front lines that are banned out and the 3 that are already picked, with Kanga getting Makoa Barrick. There are 3 left total, which sounds like plenty for Renegades, but they consist, to company Atlas here, you can go Ruckus, you can go Terminus, or you can go Fernando.
Oof.
2 of the, Ruckus has probably been the best performing of the 3, but
yeah,
when he's the off tank, not if he has to be forced to be like a point tank, and him and Atlas don't pair well together. Terminus and Fernando, let's just erase Terminus from the conversation to help SSG's conscience, but
sure.
Then you can look at it, and Fernando he's been something that RNG have played. Renegades have kind of picked him up a few times, but it's just not the same heavy hitter.
He's been overly meh, for sure, and there's definitely specific maps. Ice Mines is really one that comes to mind. I think Jaguar Falls, maybe Bright Marsh as well. I think anything that can work on Jag can kind of also work on Bright. But there just hasn't been anyone to show us much. Tolkien looked good on it today on Ice Mines. I will say that. He definitely looked good. Okay, Cruncy looked really good on it at the MSI, but in terms of what's left, and those 3 you just kind of gave me, Ruckus is definitely, I would say, the most viable. Kanga could still counterpick something. And Ruckus, Cassie's one of them for sure, but everybody, Ruckus is just easy to hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I always try to think about, who do I want to count? Well, Ruckus is just sort of easy to hit. So it's really about whoever Ruckus can just sort of get on top of and just obliterate in that 1v1, like your Leon, your Shaolin, people that don't have a lot of defensive utilities or ways to get away from you once you're on them. That's the characters that I think are going to really struggle, but it looks like Fernando will still be hovered here. They do not want to go the way of the Ruckus.
Streets, kitten.
And I mean, looking back through it, Maeve has been very big, bouncing back and forth between these teams this set. Renegades have kind of favored her. The first 2 maps they played her didn't come through on Jaguar Falls, but that's not too surprising. Flanks are a little more, I guess, Lex-oriented now on Jag Falls than they are here. But you get the Maeve, you get the Fernando. How do you feel about the top to bottom lineup here for Renegades?
Frankly, pretty solid, except for Fernando. I think Fernando's a little bit meh, like we were talking about. But overall, the rest of it, that's okay.
Is the rest enough to carry?
You win the game through, your other picks.
Yeah.
I was wondering if it was going to be a Leon or a Victor or a Sniper for Chronix, because they haven't drafted his pick yet. And Victor, frankly, the more surprising, I think, of those 3.
Yeah, and it's one of those things.
Who was saying that?
I feel like
Kreznik
I've
was
seen.
saying Victor against Atlas earlier. He was saying that was actually kind of nutty.
True.
So
And
maybe
honestly,
it's that.
Victor's been pretty big on Frozen Guard as well. It's a very weird connection that there is, but for some reason, Victor has kind of made this his home. Before he was getting picked up more canonically now on Stone Keep, he was kind of making his rounds on Frozen Guard. So I want to say a little bit mixed there for Kanga as to whether or not Victor could actually be expected. But they get themselves the Eevee, they get the Fury, they have the Barrick, they have the Makoa. I think they have 5 things that can solidify themselves a win. But do you think Renegades get to keep themselves alive in this set?
I think they can hang in there with this composition for sure. This is a comp that can win.
Well, they have everything it takes. Kanga, I'm interested to see where this goes. Makoa, like you said, kind of lives or dies by his hooks.
Especially on Frozen Guard. It's kind of long range for Makoa.
And earlier, they kind of struggled with the Makoa more than anything. They got, Makoa Khan, and it didn't quite link up, I think, the way they wanted to. So maybe Makoa will work, maybe it won't work. Kanga trying to win this one out. Renegades trying to stay alive. So let's go ahead and jump down to the casters and see how this game goes.
Jumping down, Game 5, Frozen Guard. Kanga 1 win away from sealing up the set, sealing up the day, as the in-house rock band brings us down in here to Frozen Guard. Atlas versus Makoa is the headliner of this one, both of them escaping the ban column this time around. But
There's a lot of
your favorite Victor, not necessarily your favorite champion, but your favorite counter to Atlas, Victor, does come through here, no matter how wide or tall that wall gets. a good barrage will see its way through.
Yeah, definitely. This is actually, speaking of the Victor, I think a lot of pressure on this comp is on Chronix here, on that Victor. He has to make sure he doesn't get pushed onto, because Makoa, Eevee are probably going to be moving together. Barrick's going to be on point doing Barrick things. The Victor has to make sure he doesn't get pressured too hard by the Mave, get pushed, but he sees them coming. He's going to have to get absolutely out of there. It's always funny watching him sprint away. Disengage plus hook actually knocks Moon really far into the back, forcing him to do the rewind. Now Chronix can just absolutely rain down hell from back here.
Yeah,
and hell, he shall rain down. A reset on the grenade too gets people really low, but the Deja Vu settles things out.
Well, that's not enough. He actually ends up getting Moon Chopper on the way out there. Beautiful play from Chronix. And to note, Kanga have been fighting from the point this entire time. They have 81%, only on the back of 1 kill. But the pressure from Chronix on one side, the pressure of the rest of the team on the opposite, that's all Kanga needed, and they get point number 1, pushing for 2.
Every time Victor does well against Atlas, I feel slightly vindicated after that segment earlier. Like, all right. Just a little bit of security.
You'll
almost,
learn,
you know? It's like,
you'll learn to love that. You can only say so much incorrect stuff, and then finally, like, one thing you say lands, and yes.
Every time nothing happens again, you're just like, that's my moment.
That's right.
My one-hit wonder. Shadow Moon Chopper pushing down the side here. Finding the Furia, missing the rewind, but I don't know if it would have changed anything, as she's still, Dara managed to slow go down. Pressuring out Shadow, hopefully trying to narrowly avoid some of the damage here from Moon Chopper. Gets a little bit of a slash, a bit of a splash under the project, but still gets picked up by Shadow. Renegade's getting a real clean win here.
Yeah, well, good stand there. Triple kill by the Mave. That was easily one of the quietest triple kills I've maybe ever seen. Maybe the circumstances dictate the volume. Really quiet, just a defensive stand. Minute and a half left, though, and Vocal needs to continue his tear. He's been one of the most consistently good players, honestly, in this set. Wins or losses, he's had great stats across the board, and they'll need him to do more of the same. The Midnight could set them up here. The shield from the Barrack, Jules is going to be able to back himself off. Chronix smartly again is running away. He's turning tail, does not want to get caught out in this one. And Hero finds Evil Eye for the opening kill.
Yeah, the Inflame comes in to try to turn things around, but I'm not sure if it will. And Vocal just kiting away the Makoa. Rhino not able to connect a little bit more. Vocal still pushing down the side. Hero getting a pick 2, trading out his life for it, but they're on this aggressive zone. They're happy with that. You know, they're fine to trade 1 for 1. Maybe they'll give it up eventually, but all that matters is that they just buy time. Down to a minute left, and that cart hasn't been touched, I think, since the initial push. Moon gets hooked in, but that's one of the values of Atlas versus Makoa. Still really hotly contested fight. He just gets away from that hook way easier than a lot of other types.
Yeah, the second chance, he says, you thought you hooked me, but you actually did not. I'm going to go back. Shadow gets the nice, or does not get the nice, gets the nice death, I guess. If you're a fan of Kanga there, that is a nice death. Evil Eye and Hero, though, are going to trade the next 2 back and forth. These kills may be less impactful. 20 seconds left. There's going to be 1, 2 more engagements that you have to fight through if you're Kanga to get this one pushed in. They're going to be rounding this final corner right about the time that Overpower is not in this game. Overtime is going to begin. Kanga with 4 ultimates. Renegades also 4 ultimates. This is going to be a battle of the Titans here rounding this final corner.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're going to spend anything. There's so much time. Renegades definitely want to get away with not spending anything. Kanga might be willing to, but I mean, the Atlas Shield is basically an ult in itself, used to get a little bit of pressure here. Hero really forward fighting the cart.
Wow.
Chronix actually finding Pick and Vocal means they want to do the Immortal to trade things out. Maybe they don't think they'll get value with that ult on mid. Getting 2 picks from it means that this is going to be their defense.
Wow.
Setting it up to a 1-1. That point, notoriously hard to push, so I think Kanga's probably happy they got that Immortal out of that.
I think they would be going into it. I think only the Midnight is still charging for Kanga, and it's on like 92% or something like that, so very close to coming back here. And this was the quiet triple kill we saw from Invocal. Started off the defense well and really set up Renegades, I should say, for success.
Yeah, that cart basically didn't move from that point for another minute and a half after that. You know, once it got there, it basically just dead stopped. And the damage boost stacking, I mean, reminding everybody why Mave gets picked so much. Really impactful ultimate, really solid damage. And honestly, one thing that kind of gets overshadowed a lot about Mave is I think the DR in her kit giving her so much survivability. You know, anyone else gets shot at by the Victor, I mean, she can kind of just tank it a little bit while she prowls away.
Sure.
Although, I'll admit, watching a Mave prowl backwards is still one of my favorite things about it. It just looks a little silly.
It does look
like the
silly.
Realm Royale Ghost Walk.
That's right. I noticed 5, resilience is coming in from Kanga. Does that surprise you given what the Renegade's composition is? I mean, is that really heavily in favor of the Midnight? Or because of, I should say, the Midnight?
And the setback and Cassie boops and stuff like that.
Sure.
So really good time and space on Chronix. Like I said, he's kind of the crux for Kanga, so him being out means that Kanga have a lot to work through, but finding Atlas on finding Moonchopper and Atlas is going to be a big start of that. If only getting traded out for that though too, that's not looking so good for Kanga here.
Yeah, Shadow's still alive, still firing away. No fast cap. Kanga were able to get 72% though, so Renegade's gonna have to fight and overcome that first. So at least that's a silver lining for Kanga here. They had enough percentage on the point that Renegades didn't already nearly capture it by the time this fight was over. Chronix, beautiful pressure to start off this game, and Vocal getting hooked as well. That does not necessarily bode well. Shadow's able to answer back, so important. Chronix into the healing beam, but gets set back right to the waiting arms of Moonchopper with 3 kills for the Renegades, only 1 for Kanga. You have to imagine this is a Renegades point.
Yeah, unless Rhino somehow manages to sneak in, and I highly doubt it's going to happen at this point. It's definitely going towards Renegades. One thing, the Atlas was kind of doing a lot to the Victor there, but Victor only counters Atlas when you're keeping your distance. Once he's in your face, it's pretty much already lost for you. That's why the
that one specific interaction, the barrage through the wall.
Well, and just the fact that Atlas doesn't have a get-in ability, right? So the fact that if he's coming in, he's either going to have to use his shield early or just eat a lot of Victor damage. Victor's only job is big damn dabs. You know, that's all he kind of does. Have you never heard the term big damage?
I haven't, and I just did for the first time in my life.
And certainly not the last.
Yeah, well, you know, it's one of the many benefits. New words here, learning them all. Evil Eye's trying to get something going for his team here as Shadow and Hero start off for the Renegades. Shadow, Hero, and Viral, all 3 streaking out right now, and Vocal. Of course, Moonchopper not streaking out, but the Renegades will be okay with that as Shadow continues his tear, finally getting this payload moving forward a little bit. 1.5 left, so much more time than Kanga had by the time they were at this point last time around. It's going to be hard to fight uphill sort of into this Kanga lineup, though.
Yeah, especially with the Victor there. I mean, this point, defending this point really goes strongly towards those powerful backlines like Leon, Victor, anybody who can do long-range damage. Snipers, too, for those teams that are bold enough to run snipers on this map. It really goes into their favor. They have a lot of long-range poke damage. They just can't. There's not really much cover. You kind of have to move from one thing to the other. So let's say you force them behind that one little Tetris block up there, and now suddenly everyone who does splash damage is just destroying you, out of combat healing. There's a lot. It's hard to push this.
That's right. Ooh, it could be helped with a nice shot from Viral, and it's onto the healer for Kanga. They have no more healing left. They could really run rampant through this base right now. 41 health is all Rhino has. That's not going to matter. You breathe on him, and he's dead. Chronix is able to stay alive. Shadow tumbles in, gets the double, tumbles out. This one's going to go in. That's the back end of a triple from Shadow on the Cassie.
Great conversion by Renegades.
Wow.
That was a really solid through time and space. That was so clean. It also hit the barrack too, I believe, just getting him super low. There was no way they could get away from it. My Apple Watch is buzzing. I'm going to throw that to the ground now.
The perfect pick. The perfect pick from through time and space.
Yes.
I mean, you know, it's great. I guess anyone in reality, I mean, you can make the argument for, but just eliminating the healing and then half of a health bar from one of the point tanks, I think you'll be happy with that 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, definitely. And also, we saw one of the first times I've seen Fatal Sign, that card for Cassie, really popping off. Wow, Shadow is having
Shadow,
monster
Viral,
game.
Hero. I mean, oh my. The 3 members who are streaking out on Renegades right now are really putting this one on their back. Moonchopper and Vocal are playing well, don't get me wrong, but the slash lines of those top 3 for Renegades right now is something else.
Here's reminding everyone by Nando's a really solid main tank there. Stacking the brand, the shield, the ability to move backwards with it up. The movement speed after the dash, it lets him be aggressive and keep himself alive a lot as well.
Ice Storm drops here. Barrage, they're going to have to back off, limit the line of sights. Not able to do so just as of yet. Chronix gets a double kill on the Victor. Shell spin in, make that a triple for the Victor, firing away from the back line. 4 kills in this fight for Chronix. Rhino takes away number 5, and Kanga were on the point the entire time.
Yeah, double comeback means there's absolutely no chance for Renegades to come back here. What they're hoping for now is another really aggressive defense, but Kanga's already forward trying to deny that, getting rid of some of the mounts. They're going to try to get around the corner. It used to be that no teams would contest the cart here. It was kind of like, this was your safe zone. I mean, I've been on teams that have just all stood on the cart and waited. Just farm some credits. Just looking at the chokes.
I'm a big fan of stick Victor on the cart, throw turrets on the cart, and just ride it right down Main Street. That's my favorite.
Yeah, that's the parade float down Frozen Guard, but Chronix really putting a lot of damage into his Atlas. He's going to have to disengage. Setback barely saves him. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to chase it out. Quick hook, actually, basically just to deny Immortal. He tried to use it, couldn't get it off in time, and Vocal trying to pressure to get another trade, but the Ice Block denies that. He's going to have to get out of here. Might trade his life for it, too.
Does not end up getting out of that one. The dashes, only 1 cooldown reset for you. Evil Eye blinks in, drops the kill as well, and Flame for Kanga was used Didn't really find much. It timed out, but they did find important kills on the back end of it. Payload's now getting very close with 1.5 minutes left. You figure they have 2-3 tries maybe even at this, depending on how staggered or not they end up getting. Renegades still plenty to defend with through time and space. So impactful last time around, but Chronic's finding in Vocal, that's probably the worst way to start out if you're the Renegades.
It was a great hook, too, by Rhino, catching him as he was trying to go around the corner. This is really bad for Renegades, especially if they get another pick here. Rhino using some cover. They might be able to find Hero. He might have to be forced to Immortal.
Wow.
They find Moon, actually, in the meantime, so now they have 2 low tanks, 0 low tanks. They're all gone. This is absolutely going to go Kanga's way unless these DPSs just open their third eye, and it's not happening right now. It is staying closed.
The eye is closed.
No enlightenment today.
The question remains if there's even a third eye. There is. Just saying. No, there's not. We're going to a 3-3 point fight.
I believe you, Dave.
This one's for the set. I give you the side eye glaringly here in the booth. Either Kanga win this point and the set is over, or Renegades win the point, and we're going to a game 6.
Yeah, and Renegades, they're really gonna have to form up here. It's gonna be pretty, hard for them, I think, with how strong that was for Kanga. Thankfully for them, they didn't really use too many ultimates. They still have the Immortal. That's such a good way to kind of quell that aggression. But if Kanga finds Hero first, this is gonna be tough for them. They don't have too many ways to slow them down, other than maybe kiting with a scout.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it really depends on who these first early picks come in the form of. Chronix does have the Barrage, one of the 3 ultimates that are up for Kanga. Renegades use the Scout. The Barrage does not find anyone just as of yet. He's looking for Moonchopper, and Flame comes through as well. That's Kanga saying they want to go. They want to fight right now, and they find the opening kill in the form of Joel's onto Hero. The rest of Renegades now forced back to the backside of the point here. The good hook onto Moonchopper drops a kill there as well, and Vocal's able to answer back, but Chronix is just free firing from this side over here.
Chronix in such a strong position. Joel's here controlling the right too. The good thing the DPS for Renegades got out if they want to have a chance at this, but the tanks are going to have to find their way in, and with Chronix set up in a position, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get in with enough health to sustain here. Hero's been spotted out a little early, already down to half HP. Evoli getting out too. Hero dodging the stun, going to have to just barely live on point here, but Evoli going down to the side is disaster for Kanga. They managed to trade it. The midnight coming in means they can't find another pick. Chronix actually too far in the face of Invocal, but he actually dies to Moonchopper in the end coming around. Ancient Rage chasing a kill, but he's not helping fight the point right now.
And the overtime is ticking away, but all the kills are for the Renegades right now. The game is not going to end. Kanga will have a chance to retake, but the Renegades have bought themselves some time, a well-executed team fight. They still have the Exiles. The only ultimate that's up in this game right now is Atlas. He can exile people from getting an Evil Eye in a position to maybe blink in and get a touch. One more chance from Kanga. Renegade, one more shot to send it to a game 6.
Yeah, the exile actually, the resilience means that he's not going to get exiled long enough.
Oh, no!
Finds the kill though, Shadow pushes onto him, even trades, but Renegades find the next pick onto Evoli. Moonchopper on this side there. Bowling Ball might not be able to keep Joel's alive long enough. More picks happening, back and forth, 2 versus 3 right now, but Chronix finds the trade. Can he get these kills? I don't think so, both tanks in the way. Well, one tank in the way, Viral looks tanky enough with all that damage coming in. Renegades take it up to 3-2. Their hopes are still alive. Woo! Not out of it yet. They have to find the strength to keep going forward, but I hope they didn't spend it all on that one.
Backs against the wall. They sold out for the win there, and not a moment to spare. Renegades extend their lives in this one. We're going to a game 6. 2 games to win for the Renegades. 1 game to win from Kanga. And what a fight back it was. Renegades have shown us maybe it's kind of a asterisk obscure map, but Renegades have always looked very good on Frozen Guard.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think they beat Nip on it, right?
I think they lost to Nip, but it was like a 7-point game that was back and forth the entire time. I could be wrong. It was at
I know that versus
minimum
Nip,
close.
It was insanely close, and they've shown that this is a very good map for them. And I have a feeling that the next time they meet, I don't know if it's going to get through the ban phase.
Yeah, maybe not. You would maybe assume that now you just ban out Frozen Guard up against the Renegades. That's got to be a good spirit booster here, keeping yourself in this set. And honestly, this is a totally different look. Still no room for error. You still have to win 2 more.
Kanga's still fighting on all cylinders. Renegades just came out swinging a little harder.
And I think that's a good way of looking at it. Renegades maybe realize backs against the wall, swinging out. They get the win here. Still 2 more for them. Only 1 more for Kanga to close out this set. Will we get there? Got to go to a quick break before we find out.
INAP, powering the control room for the Paladins Premier League.
We heard you like 9 hours of Paladins content. We are giving you, surprisingly, 9 hours of Paladins content for the day. 3 best of 7. So far, it has won 7 games into now going into the 6th game. Renegades keep themselves alive in that last set.
Should we just,
at this point, just go the distance.
just get it. Let's just go. Let's just go.
And
for
only
it.
if Renegades win at the very end.
Well,
the only,
if
that's the
Renegades lose in
stipulation
a
I
best
have.
of 7 here, I think Dave would break down into tears. So
I
maybe,
genuinely think that would push him over the
maybe
edge.
we should just end it here for Dave's sake, guys. Just do it for Dave's sake at this point, Kanga. End this one so we don't lose our good boy Dave. These are the post-game stats for Frozen Guard. This has been an all-out war all day
Wowzers.
long. Both teams back and forth. Surprisingly enough, Shadow actually top damage over in Vocal.
I mean, being able to do a ton. Again, it's a 4-3 brawl. That had to have been during the last fight, right? More than anything. Shadow being able to kind of take that 16-3 and 13 there. But again, I think the biggest one we've been highlighting throughout most of this has been looking at the supports and seeing how much impact they have. 6-3 and 29 there for Viral. And again, a very impactful Genos game to come through from him.
One of two players to go positive on the Renegades. Big snipe here. Deletes Scara and puts a big old dent in the Barracks HP pool. Also worth noting, Vocal finally going negative for once in his life. It's crazy to think. I mean, we're commenting so much on how this guy's always positive no matter what. Renegades finally win a game, and he's negative. So, funny enough how life works that way. Overtime 3-3 here. Nice positioning here, keeping everyone topped off, but also throwing out, frankly, a lot of damage to keep this fight even.
And there's so much at this very end. Like, that last kill probably is not necessarily the one that seals the deal. It happens a little bit before when you force that Victor to run up, when Chronix has to make that choice of running onto the point. But impactful comeback there from Renegades with Viral kind of spearheading it for them, doing a lot with the Atlas right next to him to be able to find that, collapse that, close that one out. And now they get to move forward again, a couple of maps. But now we are getting towards kind of the fringe. There's, 5 left in the pool. I can't name off the 5 as of right now. But you're looking at
Mostly because I
towards
can't remember the bands from 2 hours ago.
Ice Mines, this is why I like writing them down. Ice Mines,
Mines.
Splitstone Quarry, Warder's Gate, and Ascension Peak.
There we
So
go.
we've still got Bazaar, we've still got Fish Market, we still have Shattered Desert, and I believe Stone Keep and Timber Mill are the 5
Gotcha.
still out. So
Stone Keep. That's where I would put my
I'm
money.
surprised last one wasn't Stone Keep, considering they went through the 4 other most standard maps in Paladins before there.
I would probably put my money on Stone Keep next for Kanga, for part of the reason being that it is less so a fringe map that, is kind of polarizing. And it is kind of more, I think in the wheelhouse of what Kanga are looking to play right now. If Chronix is leaning towards playing a Victor, then I think, a Stone Keep at some point. It is going to be Shattered Desert, though, where we head next. Seen a lot of cool things here, including a Buck today. I don't know if anyone's going to pull that one out. Evil Eye might have that one in the pocket. I don't know. Mutu really, really enjoys that pick, so that's part of the reason why I think what we ended up seeing it today. I made sure to point out that I did not believe Buck was going to become one of those new meta selections. Lex and Willow, however, could potentially be here.
Yeah.
Willow would be great on this map if there was somewhere for her to stand when she wasn't in Faithlight. You know what I mean? There was just no high ground to speak of on this map.
You stand behind a sand dune, and that's all you see the entire game. You have no upward visual. I don't even know what kind of words I'm trying to use. You have no high ground to stand on, which means you get no look down onto the battlefield, which she really needs. You are not very tall as Willow, and so as such, you need a little help in that department to get up onto something to keep you up. But everything that's up in the air on this map has blue flames on it that will burn you down if you happen to stand on them. So it's a very dangerous area to be on the tops of things. As such, I think we'll probably see Maeve, Eevee. Those have been very big on this map.
They sure have, and this is a Kanga selection. They just lost Frozen Guard, so they get to pick this one and potentially put the set away on a map of their choosing. Ash will be the first picked. Everything pretty standard as far as the band categories. The Cassie is kind of that, we talked about it enough today, but that sort of A+ plug-and-play band you don't need to worry too much about. Keeping open some of the frontliners at the very least. Barrack and Inara are both available.
This is at that point where I wish I had this very specific stat. I know how many times Kanga has probably drafted Ashe, which is, I mean, for them almost every game, except for the few that she's been banned against them. But I wish I knew how many times she was their first pick when they were in the first pick position. Like how often they value Ashe over anything, and that's with Khan available. I mean, Khan getting just forgotten for the first 3 picks in the map. And we've seen them, I think actually it was the first map, they ran Khan Ashe on Frog Isle. Something you could do here since this is a little bit more aggressive, but I mean, Ashe is their bread and butter. Ashe is exactly where they want to go, and they have 2 front lines who love it.
And the Renegades have managed to keep themselves pretty open-ended here, pretty flexible in the first 2 picks of their draft. Barrack and Genos likely to be transitioned towards a 3 DPS, but could absolutely go the double tank route as well if they want to go. I think taking the Maeve away is very smart. She pairs incredibly well with Genos on this map in particular, as well as Invocal is probably in a pretty good rhythm by this point in the set on this character.
Oh, yeah.
It's something that was on a massive upswing in the MSI, and Invocal and the Renegades were, you know, a part of that. I think they helped set up Maeve. There was a couple of people that have been, you know, Maeve players for the short stint. She was a very heavy meta selection, but Invocal has always been in that conversation.
And there's Viral himself kind of sitting down, getting the thought on. More than likely going to be Genos for this map. And we just saw what he can do on that. A lot of highlight plays, good snipes, as well as good kill potential coming from him. But that's the man himself right there, Invocal. I don't know which one's better, looking through Rock Monkey's eyebrows or Invocal's hair.
Well, they both have, it's a hurdle to overcome for both of them, for sure. Rock was certainly looking through the eyebrows today. It's not going to be the triple DPS in the sense of the in-game labels, but Ruckus and Barrack are pretty damn close to damage characters if you look at how their guns operate. Ruckus specifically, he really rounds that out well. He's just like a beefy flanker at the end of the day. Pretty good mobility for the front line, as well as if you factor in his personal shielding and his ability to continue to fire while that personal shield is active, Ruckus pretty much has the highest HP of all the frontliners in the game.
I mean, this is one of those areas where, with Ruckus specifically, I personally started to question Moonchopper and his ability to kind of come in and perform on him. We've seen it, I want to say, be hit or miss for Renegades in the past, and it's not
be
something
hit or miss
that
even for, you know, Sadak.
Yeah, honestly, like it's just one of those champions right now that when it works, but when it doesn't, it fails pretty spectacularly. And
when you're looking at guys like Sadak, who are, you know, just god tier Ruckus players, probably some of the best to ever do it, if they're just barely scraping by in some situations, and then in other situations hard feeding, I'm worried about, you know, Chopper, who doesn't play a ton of this character, period, who just recently made the switch from DPS to the off-tank role. Back on the Victor, though. Gengar certainly getting in a rhythm. Chronic's certainly getting in a rhythm with the Lone Wolf himself.
We have one more potential DPS pick, probable DPS pick. Now it's going to be Lex, and this time it's coming through for the other side. Kanga played him earlier.
Who's playing
Kanga's played him twice now, but this is going to be the first time we see Renegades. But he does have the Genos behind him, so how are you feeling about him?
It kind of depends who's going to play it, because like it's literally so brand new and has never been here before, to the point where I don't even have an inkling of who has the history on this character.
Invocal?
Yeah, I don't know. I would guess Invocal. If I had to guess, I would probably lean his way. I don't know though, because it's hard, because Invocal will play Maeve, Shadow will play Eevee. It's like they both have a flanker. They both can play some hit scan. We'll really just have to kind of get in the game and see. I'll say Invocal. I'll put my chips on Invocal.
I would like to think it's a slow, meaty shot, so I expect it to be someone maybe a little more methodical, like Invocal, where Shadow can just, you know, face tank with the Leon, go wherever it wants. But either way, we're going down to Dave and Kresnik for, again, what could be the last game if Kanga can close this out.
Could be.
But it won't be.
It's not going to be. We're going one more on the back end of this one. I have no basis for saying that. It's going to depend on who comes out on top of this one. Shattered Desert, Game 6, maybe our final game if Kanga are able to take this one. Who would you put your money on? We're going to see in just a couple seconds who's playing Lex on Renegades. Close your eyes.
I actually haven't seen yet. I'm going to say Invocal.
Oh, yeah, you're right. We haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, we haven't seen it. Now
it is Invocal. Yay! He gets it.
Go. What do I get?
To cast a Game 6 with Dave.
I thought you were going to say 7.
Yeah, maybe, maybe. That's a prize. You win Game 7 because
Hopefully,
it's Invocal on the
Renegades,
Lex.
Invocal wants to win Game 7. That's why he's probably going to look pretty aggressive here on the right. I think Ruckus on this map I think is really solid. I know he's kind of inconsistent on other maps, but his ability to rotate pressure from the side is really strong. And Renegades are already kind of abusing that space he's making. Shadow finding that first pick onto the main.
Shadow opens up this one. Things already looking good for a Game 7. Invocal, the 2 damage dealers, 1 kill each, 48% on the point for the Renegades as Kanga forced back. All kind of stacking up behind this pillar right now, maybe trying to spear their way through. 72%. Oh my, Gara gets deleted by Shadow. Perfect rotation. No more healing for Kanga right now. 93%. The dash is going to come in, but Rhino's going to get melted, and Renegades are going to get on the board first.
He managed to touch with his big toe, basically, so stopping the contest,
Hopefully.
letting it go a little bit longer. No, he did. It was stuck at 96, but I don't know. They're going to have to just burn down the people on point. Kanga's not finding any kills on the side. Everything's coming up Renegades right now, yet not a death on the board for Renegades right now.
They saved me. Renegades say I called point 1, and there was still a slight chance. Luckily, like you said, no deaths for Renegades, only deaths for Kanga as this one gets moving forward. And Vocal on the Lex, 302, the Mirror, 203 for Shadow, Viral, 05. Maybe I'll just run down everyone's slash lines because they all look good right now. This payload's inching ever closer. Every single kill that they get right now, Renegade's looking unstoppable so far in Shadow Desert.
Yeah, Rhino actually trying to make some space in mid, just distracts her a bit, does inevitably die, but he doesn't get anybody low enough to get finished, actually. If only trying to push for Shadow, but Enlightenment is a pretty good ultimate. Survey says, ding, you're dead.
Survey says double for Shadow this time around. 2 people probably did not vote for that answer, and that would have been the 2 members of Kanga who just got blasted. Payload, 1.5 minutes left still. Plenty of time for Renegades. They might not need it, though. 8 streaks for 3, 9 and 6 streaks for the other 2 for the Renegades right now. First round of ultimates ready. Hexafire rips through. Shadow nearly getting the first death of the game for the Renegades, but does not do it. Hexafire doesn't find any kills. Joel's can't get the seismic crash off. Ends up falling on his own anyway. Viral through time and space is going to pick up 1. Invocal, though, he's the first to die from the Renegades this time around. A good defensive stand maybe for Kanga.
Yeah, I like the Hexafire there. It actually forced some defensive cooldowns, really pushed them back, but Kanga was able to just hide, get some poke. They dealt damage to other targets in the meantime. I like the idea, but it still kind of ended up falling apart in the end. Renegades, though, they have the time to refight this. Not sure what they're going to commit here, though. Maybe if they can use the law if they get it. It's not too impactful. I could see them maybe going for that, but right now it looks like they're settling up on the left. Probably going to use some cover to get close and start getting some poke on.
No one escapes it, except for when it's on cooldown. Nothing to be escaped right now. 78%, it charges actually pretty quickly. Dome Shield does get dropped right here. That's going to force Kanga back just a little bit. The dash in from Evil Eye. The daggers are not connecting this time around, but Rhino's trying to get aggressive onto Moonchopper, and that's going to be a good kill. Invocal as well on the backside, though. They drop off Chronix, who's been doing most of the damage. Is he able to clean up the kill onto Invocal right now? He's missing the daggers. Who wins this 1v1? It's so important. Invocal comes out on top. A double kill for the Lex. It's going in, and the Renegades are going to get point number 2.
One of the most underrated parts of Lex's kit is his ability to kite and dodge.
Wow.
That Warrants Out card, the one that gives you speed after dashing, you're like, oh, that's only for like 1.5 seconds. But when you're in a fight and you're constantly dashing and then moving at 50% speed for 1.5 seconds, and then you're suddenly back to normal speed, that's really hard for a projectile champion to follow. It's so hard for them to get those consistent shots, and you could see it there. Like, Invocal was duck, dodge, and weaving, just bobbing weaving through everything. Got really, really almost easy kills for him. I mean, Lex is showing why he deserves to be in this
Sure.
map.
It's got to be the best dash is just sliding all over the place. I absolutely love it.
And you can't even use it in the air if you're void crypt either.
And I love the builds they're going for as well. Already getting their resiliences. Of course, assert dominance, seismic crash. Midnight. The occasional stun that may come in from Furia as well. And they only, but they only have the law this time around. You can't escape it. Is it going to be able to find any kills? Maybe just some shield break, whereas Kanga have a lot more to work with on their side. It doesn't matter, though. Shadow finds the first kill onto Evil Eye already. Kanga on the back foot.
Oh, and the law actually forces out the Inflame and the wall. Now the Inara is going to be a pretty easy pick on point. Getting burnt down, actually blind-siding her Furia so she can't get healed. Barrage tries to relieve some of the pressure, but it's not enough. Invocal just walking at them. Just Lex's insane pressure, insane damage. He has wall hacks on every other target, basically. Able to just put in a ton, getting a bunch of kills, cleaned up mostly by Hero, but still, his presence cannot be denied.
You cannot.
Really trying to flip that around, though.
I agree. I mean, Hero with the big shots there, cleaning up a lot of those kills. but a lot of it was set up by what the rest of the Renegades were putting on the table. Things have leveled out here. Kanga used everything. They get themselves 66%. Renegades have through time and space a couple ultimates that may or may not charge by the end of this as well. You look for a pick here, does not come up. Shoulder bash goes in onto Hero right now, and he has to back off, but Rhino catches a kill. Shadow opens things up here for the Renegades trying to retake, but Evil Eye stays alive, drops in Vocal. Shadow's down as well. Overtime in favor of Kanga. Seismic Crash might just seal it up.
Yeah, Moonchopper really low on the side, gonna get turned down completely, just melted. Viral trying to come in last second. I mean, at that point, just maybe Hail Mary, but just basically trying to stagger so we can get back with his team here. Kanga really solid in that fight.
Yep.
Clean win. They're gonna look for some aggressive zoning here. Rhino coming back from respawn. They're both controlling the left side. Ivoli, good option to have here on the left. Has some solid poke. I think you want your longer range DPS on the right.
Sure.
So he can get that really far angle. If they had Ivoli on the right, it might be a little inconsistent. So I like the setup so far by Kanga.
Is there anything that jumped out to you as to why Lex was not tearing through Kanga like he was on that first mid-fight, or they just played generally better on the side of Kanga?
I think, well, he was tearing through them at the start.
I guess that's true. You're right.
Got a
You're
bunch
right.
of cleanup. They just,
You're right.
their retake.
The
was just
retake,
bad.
right.
I think that's like the best way to wear it down. Ivoli getting picked off by Shadow. Leon is so influential on this map. Her ability to just, she can rotate pretty well off like the little mini high ground, carry her momentum through, and her ability to just cancel her abilities and get that crazy burst damage that almost can't be dodged is nothing to shake a stick at here, especially on a map as open as Shadow Desert.
There's a beautiful example of that onto Gera earlier in this game. The full rotation gets the burst kill as well.
Mid, right?
Yep. Right early on in this game, sealed things up for Renegades. Both teams just kind of charging their ultimates right now. This payload inching ever closer. The shoulder bash getting very aggressive here from the side of Kanga. Chronix, though, the first to go down. Moonchopper, death by 1,000 cuts. He's kind of in the back line. I don't know if they expected maybe a Ruckus to be back there, but there he is regardless. Joel's is the only saving grace here. Still a minute left. Plenty of time, but a good stand here from the Renegades gets this payload moving the opposite direction.
That's one of the reasons why a lot of teams dislike this map. Well, a lot of players dislike this map. I think teams are kind of warming up to it now, but you have to clear both sides of the map. They pushed left, they got some pressure. Rhino was in super deep, basically taking a lot of aggro, but they just ignored Ruckus. They ignored Lex. They were just on the side shooting from behind. They basically walked into just a coliseum. Renegades were cheering, thumbs down. They all just got wiped out. And now they're looking like they're going to be able to retouch the objective, but they're going to have to clear both sides before they do anything. Look at this flank again.
Yeah, you're right.
Lex coming in on the back line.
Almost the same exact thing as last time. They have to be privy to it. They have to know something cheeky is going on here, and Vocal is just forcing Chronix out. Chronix is not participating in this fight at all. Hexafire goes right into the wall of Joel. Still alive as Vocal dashing through. Chronix back in the fight now. Evil Eye gets gripped up, gets dropped down by Moonchopper. Chronix is the last to stand at 2 seconds left. This is going to expire, and Renegades 1 point away from forcing a Game 7.
Chronix did not want to be conscripted into the Coliseum.
No,
when
he
Lex
said,
and Ruckus were coming
go the
in, he just
opposite way.
sprinted away. He's like, I'll chill on mid. You guys have your last push. I'll touch at the end. Maybe I'll get like 3% more of ult. But yeah, still good. Renegades, they're abusing this map really well. This is why Ruckus, I think, is such a solid pick on this map. Just the ability to rotate, play with the flanker. He's one of the best. Ash might be better off cooldown.
Sure.
But Ruckus, his movement is up a little more often. Just able to do that rotation. His burst damage, too, is a lot stronger than most tanks.
Sure.
Maybe ignoring like Atlas's ability to do those like headshots 1350. That's just kind of scary. That's
a bit of an outlier.
Yeah, exactly.
Bit of an outlier. Viral at 3-1 and 23, looking good for the Renegades. 5 strong on resilience. Cauterize 3, Cauterize 3, Cauterize 3 as well. A lot of that healing is going to be clipped. Potentially one final team fight here for the Renegades. Only the Hexifire's down as well. Still stand pretty firmly in the ult economy, and Flame goes right into the Dome Shield, though. Are they able to find any kills on the back of it before it times out? That's the big question. Hero is going to drop. Rhino as well gets one onto Viral, so no more healing right now for Kanga. Shadow and Invoco, though, help pull things back a little bit.
Yeah, Shadow rotating away on this side. Gets found by a Voli. Moonchopper has to die on the point. At this point, I don't think they have a retouch. Really very fast, aggressive ultimate usage by Kanga. I mean, look how close their percentages are. They just used all 5. They all hit the button at the same time. That desk shook.
That's right.
There's so much pressure on their keyboards at once. Someone might have to go into that room.
And go.
Yeah,
and the rest of them hit their E key and down like dominoes. Actually, the Renegades, they literally only had time to use the Dome Shield.
Yeah, I mean, and he did it the first second. They had no time to use anything else. The mid started, he domed, and Kanga was like, all right, let's go.
I mean, the Renegades here This is, in a weird way, it's an awkward spot because, of course, you want to maybe use some ultimates to stop them from going through. You have plenty of time regardless. You're going back to one final mid-fight. The Law does clean up the kill onto Rhino here, as Kanga are looking to tie this one up. No ultimates for them, a couple for the Renegades. Still 1 minute and 50 seconds left. A good defensive stop from the Renegades last time around got them an extra point, but no point to be won just as of yet. Kanga could tie it. Renegades could not win until maybe this next mid-fight, but already rounding this final corner is the payload.
Yeah, Renegades won't be too unhappy if they lose this, because they will be at a 3-3, and the comeback mechanic has been a very big part, I think, of the mid-fight that Kanga managed to win. So Renegades probably will be a little concerned about their ultimates. They use the Law, but I think some teams see that as a little bit more disposable of an ultimate. You know, it's good, but it really does need some setup. So if you're just throwing it out, you don't have a good setup ultimate for it, you can see it as a little bit more of a throw it out, see what you get. If you get something good, don't put you on the space.
It's not necessarily a... it could be a heavy-hitting ultimate, but it's sort of a contingency on what's going on. And Vocal, though, flanking around this backside here. Shadow's trying to even things out as best as he can. Sounds like the Hexafire on the back line is going to drop Evil Eye. Rhino back as well. It's going to be a successful defense from Renegades for the time being, but with 55 seconds left, can they do it again? Chronix trades out. That's not going to matter. He's going to respawn, and Vocal is right back into this payload. 45 seconds now. They used the Hexafire, the Renegades did, and now you're in this weird territory of... Now we need to actually think about how many ultimates we use.
I would say Kanga really don't want to ult here because you don't want to be down ults in a 3-3. Even if you cap, you don't want to be down ults in a 3-3.
Sure.
And then you don't want to be down ults in a 3-2 if they're looking to cap on the next mid-fight. I actually really like Renegade's defense here. They're playing to this map so well. Look how far behind Invocal is right now. Just barely spotted out by Evoli. They're playing the wide, flat openness of this map really well, and their draft is just strong for it. Trades happening too. Actually, both the flankers get taken out. Kanga's adapting to this. Shadow's going to have to really power up if they're going to stop this. Hero's slowing down the card for a little bit, but he definitely does not want to use Dome Shield here. Thankfully, doesn't need to for Joel's. Both tanks traded just for Hero. He's got to be happy with that.
Yeah, you got to watch out if you're Shadow here. Evil Eye, the daggers are good. Checkerboard kills, but Renegades are the last ones to find a few. They successfully defend. We still stand at 3-2. It got a little dangerous there, and Vocal flanked around the backside, but once his help kind of left, then Evil Eye and Chronix turned around and was like, oh, I guess we'll shoot you now.
And Vocal thought it was 3-3, and Vocal was on the next mid, and then he was just like, why are they? Oh,
right. They're still pushing.
Yeah, this is that really early fight. So there's the Inflame, there's the Barrage, there's the Midnight, there's the Assert Dominance, there's the Seismic Crash. Right away, immediately, one after the other. Everything used all at once. They tried it through time and space in response, but he couldn't even get it off before he died. Yeah,
died before the channel could even finish. They pulled back a couple there, but too clean of a team fight from Kanga. Yet again, Renegades could capture this point, force a Game 7. Kanga looking to tie it up and maybe push for the win if they're able to capture this one around. Flanking around the backside, Seismic Crash from Jules was so huge, so important last time around. Could it be more of the same here? Right into the Dome Shield yet again, only one stun, but Viral is the first to go. Invocal down yet again. Already the Renegades at a 3-5 disadvantage here. Somebody needs to pull something back. It's not going to happen. A clean wipe, but only a half comeback mechanic this time around. 4-tick and then 3-tick every other time.
Yeah, Renegade's looking a little bit better on that mid because they lived it longer on point. Hero using his Dome Shield much smarter, I think, to counter the Seismic Crash. Like, yes, he still got hit by the Seismic Crash, but nobody else on the team could shoot him. And Kanga have Victor and Maeve. They're usually going to be far enough away where they have to, they're not going to be in a position to shoot through that Dome Shield.
Sure.
Moon finding some damage on the right, pushing both DPSs back, but he's going to have to touch with no health. That's a straight-up trade. But they get Rhino for it, too. No off-tank on either side. Viral looking for it. Invocal catching Evoli on the side. I think pushed out by the time and space. Joel's really low on point. Is Shadow going to extend in for this? Doesn't get hit by the frag grenade. Hero still trading on point. They don't even see Chronix here, actually. They get Joel's, and Chronix has been a non-factor so far in this fight. Shadow melting him, too. They won this mid-fight so far. Can they stagger them enough to deny the retake?
There are 36%. That's the question. Is the retake going to be stopped? You still have the execute. The Law is ready. They're pushing so far forward. Invocal and Hero each find a couple of kills. 57% is where we stand. I don't know if they know Chronix is off to the side here. They do now. He has to back off. If he dies, this one might be over. It's looking like it is. 81%. Jules is back around on the opposite side of the point. A good flank coming in from the side of Kanga right now. If Evil Eye goes down, it could be written in the stars that this is going to a Game 7 as well. Overtime, though, starts up for Kanga.
Yeah, Jules gets burnt down on point, though. No one else is there there to help him. Volley's there, but he's too low. He can't touch. He might make it in, but Viral's in the way. His damage is enough. Rhino manages to bash onto the point, but the damage is just overwhelming. Chronic's finding some picks, but you are not getting through Moonchopper's Ruckus. Not today, my friend. Renegades bring us to 21 maps out of 21 maps today. Dave, your smile right now says it all.
Here's to that game 7 you ordered. Another one.
You forgot the pickles.
Where there's no pickles. Somebody orders pickles on pizza, you know, I was referencing pizza. I did the opening pizza box thing, so when you said pickles, I got into a weird spot.
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Either way, game 6 is fun. Like you said, 21 out of 21. Our previous record was 20 out of 21.
I believe I was there for that day too, actually.
Resnick, listen, there's something about you in these really long days.
Well, now you're in it for the long haul.
I'm in it for the long haul. Tomorrow, maybe more of the same. But all we know, we got one more Game 7 on the books. Renegades, they take my heart and they lay it out on these tables. The number of Game 7s that I've had to watch, please, I beg of you. One Game 7, just do it for me.
But this time they're doing the reverse sweep, you know?
That's true,
like
you're right.
Last time it was the
You're
Knights,
right.
they swung it back, had a really strong comeback, but now it's Renegades. Now they have the momentum, and this is a team that I think people have said can be emotional before in the past.
Absolutely. I mean, if there's a team that you're assuming will have positive momentum, positive emotions, especially with the turmoil they faced, it's the Renegades. We got a Game 7. You want to stick around right after this break.
iNap, powering the control room for the Paladins Premier League.
All I'm learning today is that a lot of people look like the same outline as Bittner, and I don't know what they look like
Tenor
when you
is
take
the
them
Pikachu
away.
of our scene. We've been up here for like the last 7 players. Tenor? Is it Tenor?
All I can think of, I was talking about it earlier because we were relating it to like the memes where it's like it's Pikachu meme, but like there's one where it's like it's just a circle, right? And you're like, oh, it's like Voltorb, maybe Electrode,
Yeah.
and it's like it's Jigglypuff seen from above, and you're just like, all right,
Oh, man.
get out of here.
It's funny because
That's how these feel.
it's like a tall European guy versus like a short Portuguese. Oh, man. I guess what we really learned here is that silhouettes transcend all other boundaries in life.
Yeah.
And you really can't judge a book by its cover. That's the deeper lesson there to be learned, but who's that Pokemon Paladins edition?
Well, hey, it is going to be another great game for the Renegades. Or maybe you could say a rough game there for Kanga. Either way, they are the ones coming out on top. 124,000 damage there for Shadow as they rain it on in. 96,000 right
Shadow's
behind him.
kind of popping.
Here is 11,921, but Shadow, like, I didn't know what to really expect out of his Leon. Like, I knew it would be solid. I didn't know it would be like that. That was a different level of performance.
Feels like Shadow just doesn't want to lose this set. I mean, he popped off 16-3 on Frozen Guard, 16-7 on Shadow Desert here. Leon and Cassie Cassie Leon respectively. It's a guy that wants to win. It's started off as the substitute player for the Renegades in Phase 1. But after an extended hiatus filling in, they just made it official. He's taken over Loki's position, basically, and he's done a great job at it. Really, I think, elevated this roster for sure. Great attitude, great kid. It's been awesome to meet him and to kind of get to know him because he's really started to pull a lot of weight for this Renegade squad. We mentioned it going into this set is that there's a lot of talent on this roster for sure. They just got to find a way to put it together, and whether it's a reorganization of who's drafting, who's calling, who can say for sure what it is exactly going to be that's going to unlock the potential.
Well, so far they're right there, right? They've won one set before.
Oh yeah.
And it was a 6-game
Kanga.
set against Kanga at the beginning of Split 1. Maybe they can tick that 1 to a 2, double the amount of wins they've gotten all year, and make it against Kanga again.
What map?
This time there's
Where are we
not
going? What do you think?
Stone Keep.
Boom!
Boom. Got it.
You're
That's
nuts, kid.
It was
You're
just one of those.
nuts,
We were
kid.
talking about it a lot for map 6, so it had to
Oh.
happen at some point. But this has to be one of those areas, honestly, if I am Kanga, I'm
Time
feeling
for
more
Tyra.
pressure, I think, than anything. I mean, look at this. It's very similar again. Almost nice symmetrical, like 2-1-1-2 coming down. This is where it's going to break. 3-3 as we go into map number 21 for the day. That's 3 best-of-7s. Every single one of them has
It's only
gone
day
all
one
the way to 7.
of week 1, baby.
That's literally the start of Split 2. This is the long trek to Worlds.
We got
and
25 more broadcasts for you in the next the next 13 weeks to come before we even get to the World Championship. It's going to be a whole lot of Paladins, brother. I would personally like to see Kanga build a Tyra composition here on Stone Keep. I think Chronix has done a great job kind of adding that character into his pool, as well as using it to elevate the frontliners around him and everybody else on his team. It's worked well for them on Stone Keep in the past as well. I have very vivid memories of him standing up on that balcony, sort of hunters
Form up
marking
and follow
people
me in.
and commanding the battlefield from above. Could be something Kanga looked to go back to. But overall, Tyra has seen some play today, but not nearly quite as much as she saw towards the latter half of Phase 1.
It's definitely been a little more void overall. It's kind of been missing her, I would actually argue, more than anything. Like, I
Kind of,
understand
yeah.
some DPS kind of coming up and being impressive. Like, Lex has been very, very solid, but I don't think you can really argue with the amount of tank shred that Tyra brings. But again, sometimes you just have to skip over her, maybe in favor of someone
You
else.
trespass
The other
and are
two
unwanted,
forms of damage
stranger.
amp are taken away there with Torvald and Genos on the side of Kanga. So you're trying to limit, I think, what Renegades can do.
Heroes
But they
commanding,
get their Anara Khan and they're happy.
Heroes commanding both camera shots in the Renegades booth right now. I mean, it's just a whole lot of hero. And this would... Man, if the Renegades lose this one, bro, after coming so far so many times in these best-of-7s, it would break my poor Davies' heart. So you know what? I'm a member of the Kang Gang for life, but I think Renegades got to take this one at this point, man.
Almost have to, just to make sure everybody... Like, it's for the investment reasons more than anything. I don't know if Dave can take another best-of-7 going all the way,
I don't know if he can
where
handle
a
it.
team was at 3 for 4 maps at the very end before they finally closed it out. And I know for a fact there's no way he can take Renegades letting another one slip through their hands. And I have one drastically important question.
What is that?
How have we not made a hero montage with I Can Be Your Hero Baby playing in the background, where he's just making some sick plays the entire time? It feels like it writes itself here.
That would
And I'm sorry that
require
we've lacked
hero to make sick plays.
those contents.
Oh, burn! Sorry, you absolutely alley-ooped me for that one. I had to slam dunk that.
What doesn't
I had
kill
to.
me,
I had to.
better start running.
Either way.
That was an
Anara-
alley-oop, literally caught in the warder's gate, jump jets.
I was just hanging for
floating.
you,
It
waiting.
refused to go down until it was dunked.
Well, now they've got their Damba, they've got their Maeve, nice little flex pick at the end. And Maeve is also a beautiful choice for him. Shadow or Invocal can play it. Usually it's been Invocal lately, but it's also been deadly. You were saying it was good to take it away last game because he's kind of gotten into the stride. Now he's right back in where he's been practicing.
Well, it looked pretty good earlier today for Mr. Evil Eye. Stone Keep is one of the larger skybox maps for sure. And I have this very vivid memory of it was not too long. It was fall split of last year, right when Nightshade was just popping off for Willow. Torvald, Willow, NIP just Navi was just, you could not mess with them at that time. They were dominating everyone. And then NIP picked up Nightshade Field Study and just absolutely demolished Navi on Stone Keep. 4-0'd him in like 7 minutes or something like that. Just getting flashbacks to that. Not quite the strength she once was, but Willow
I will bring an
certainly
end
looks
to
like
the
she's here to
darkness.
stay.
I mean, it is one of those maps, like specifically Stonekeep. Is Stonekeep and Brightmarsh, I remember like last year during the summer, like at the very end of the summer split, Bittner was playing her, and like no one else even bothered picking her, but Bittner kept coming up and being like, all right, I'm gonna make Willow work, demolishing people with her. And then like I remember like Esports Weekly sitting down and being like, is Willow like a thing now? Like, is that something we have to like start anticipating? Or is Bittner and the rest of Fnatic just really good? Turns out she became a thing, and now she's going to be back.
Well, Drogos is the final hover, and if you guys remember when we started this set, Moonchopper's hair was actually black, youthful exuberance.
The same thing goes there for Viral.
Emanating, and you can see the Renegades players are physically aging due to the stress of this 7-game banger that we have asked for and we have received. Moonchopper has aged a millennia, it seems. But damn it, he's gonna get this win. It's game 7. Somebody's gonna win. Somebody's gonna lose. And this 10-hour day of PPL, day 1 of Phase 2, is going to come to an end.
If Renegades lose this, I can actually hear like Dave's emotional trauma like start like with that coming through.
I don't know. I kind of want to see what he does.
It would be
if they lose.
It'd be interesting to see, but it is Renegades' game to lose at this point. They have been on a tear 2 maps in a row. Kanga have been in this position to win for, well, a little while now. They've gone through about an hour of sitting up 3-1, then 3-2. Now we'll have to see if they can make it 4-3 or if Renegades finally close it out, get themselves a second win. Let's go down to the casters.
I don't know whether to be happy or sad that Nick wants to see how I react if the Renegades lose this one.
I want to see how you react when the Renegades win. How about that? I'm here for you.
I'm popping off,
your
baby.
Happiness, your joy, everything in your life that you want.
Yeah, but I love Kanga
you've been through
too.
Quite a bit today, Dave.
I love all these teams. How am I supposed to choose? The Renegades, though, they've been in this position before. Game 7. They've won Stonekeep before, though, too. They beat SSG in their Game 7 set.
I do remember that.
You liked their draft, though. You liked their draft. You liked the Maeve. You liked the Drogos.
You thought the Drogos was being cute, but I really think the Drogos is legitimate here.
Sure.
I mean, what are their options against it? I mean,
listen, your brain is bigger than mine.
We are going to see a straight-up Dragon Ball Z mid-air Fae Flight versus Wormjet's Drogos.
Sure.
And I'm living for it right now. I'm going to be honest. I'm straight up living for it.
Actually, you're right. The mid-air battle is going to be one to watch. Let's get started off. Last game of the day, no matter which way it goes. No more games to be had. 21 out of 21. Kanga Renegades, Game 7. All 10 stack really off on this far side up here on the tall side of the keep. Who's going to find the first kill? It is going to be Hero who finds the first one. Getting traded back a little bit, though. But Invocal, Shadow, you said the Drogos was good. It certainly is. Invocal with 2, Shadow with 2, and Renegades there on the point, capturing for point number 1.
I mean, honestly, Nick tried to drop a Bergen onto Hero earlier, saying he had to have sick plays. That wall just won them the fight. Yeah, there was no wall in the kill feed, but that wall completely split the team. It stopped the heals. It let Renegades get somebody low to finish up on that kill.
True.
Shadow now zoning the upper. He actually, I think he spotted the barrack coming. Yep, he rotates down to try to get the dismount. Horse barrack is pretty quick, but they're still going to manage to get the dismount, and he's right above the point. Joel's is going to have a hell of a time getting onto this point. Full salvo in his face, a little bit below half, and Hero is just going to out-sustain him, especially with the wall in the way.
It's a little bit of extra healing. Can Joel stay alive? He cannot. 93% for the Renegades. Kills 1 and 2, both onto the frontliners. Here's the fight you wanted. You get the Drogos. He gets the better of that one. Viral cleans up the kill. Renegades, point number 1, 3 away from ending this set.
The smile on your face right now is so contagious. Oh my God.
You can hear it.
All right, if Renegades are about to win, everybody at home, please lower your streams. Dave, you might actually hear Dave from wherever you live.
Yeah, rip headphone users. we got many more points to go before we're able to get there.
Thank you, Cornbread, for cutting to the Dragon Ball Z fight here. Great air shot from Shadow onto a volley, and Vocal finishing off the kill there. Strong start here for the Renegades on this push. Card still has a bit of a ways to go, but I mean, they can't really consistently hit Shadow from the distance. You know, Rhino's throwing the flak as far as he can, but without Slugshot in his repertoire, he's not going to be able to confirm anything.
They rely on a stun, I think, to kind of get him out of the air there. The Dread Serpent as well, onto the down, onto the low ground. Midnight as well. Shadow gets a kill onto Joel's. That's one less frontliner available. And Vocal as well is trying to make life hell Off down to this bottom side, dancing around just a little bit. Kanga Esports, half health on Rhino, even less than that. He has to be careful here. The shots from Shadow have been good up to this point. Assert dominance, honestly, just to save his life and buy a little bit of time. Dragon Punch is ready, but I think Renegades are going to back off, let that Assert dominance time out, and give it another go after that.
Yeah, they have enough time to play slow and pokey.
Absolutely.
With Assert dominance out of the way, they can do a lot here. Looks like actually Seismic Crash comes in. I think catches a fully and the Ash. She gets forced to back up. She's re-healing. Dome Shield getting forced out too. He walls off the corner, walling up the flame turret actually. Maybe not too helpful for people up top, but still managing to force the Barrack out. Dragon Punch coming in to trade out the Barrack. Chronix has to drop to the point. I don't think the Ash is in position to touch, but Dead Zone coming in to make sure Hero cannot get saved.
Right.
Moon coming down too. 45 seconds left. There's enough to retouch, but Viral has to make sure he doesn't get staggered too long here.
He's going to get staggered. He's going to take the way out. Off to the side he goes. As you said.
Bully actually hit an air shot on the way out, I think, by the way.
He
'Cause it
stole
looked like
that.
he got booped.
You're right.
And
it
then
did.
he had to
I think
get the credit
I think it was a kinetic burst into an Evil Eye
Yeah.
shot. So actually a nice little shot there from Evil Eye to clean that one up. 24 seconds left. Plenty of time for the Renegades. This payload is ever so close to going in. They just need one little inch of an advantage to get this one going here. No ultimates up for them. 3 ultimates up for Kanga. You really need this one to go in because this next point fight is looking in favor of Kanga, just on ultimate basis, but it depends which way these picks go.
Actually, in Flame coming out for Kanga, they tried to do it to slow things down, but Hero managed to back up, get re-healed. He's still half, but they actually caught Rhino's dash out. If they can trade this kill, then Hero's life going down might not be in vain. Moon goes down first, though. It's probably going to be both tanks for one, maybe not even for one. Okay, they finally do get the kill, but now it's Viral on the point. His Slither can't keep him alive for very long. It only gets him out as Kanga manages to hold this point, brings us to 1-1.
Up to 1-1. Renegades got to do it 3 more times. The pressure in these moments, they got to be overwhelming. You've been here time and time again, and you have not been able to find yourself the win. The Renegades itching to get another win. A little bit of a fun history lesson. Let's turn back the page. I don't know, 15, 16 weeks. The only other win the Renegades have in the PPL was week 1 of Split 1 against Kanga. So maybe a little bit of history written in the stone here. I know you liked the Drogo's pick. Shadow made it look good here in side number 1.
Yeah, look how clean that was. I mean, that was off of the wall again. Like Gera, like overcommitting a little bit, maybe to try to get some heals post wall. Shadow sees it. I mean, I'm not sure what level of propel he has in his build. If it's probably usually people run like 3 or 4, but that lets him cross some distance really quickly to get into wipe down those kills.
Looking to do more. Already, Kanga have changed up their strategy. I don't want to fight Drogos here on the keep side. We're going to go into the church side this time around. Anything stand out to you in those cards?
Not really. It's about what I expected. Rain of Fire, really good card for that. And also Survival. Some people try to shy away from that, but I think it's really good. Getting 2 thrusts, especially with Propel 4.
Yeah.
Just like getting Ebb and Flow with Surf 5 on Makoa. Something like that, get a lot of distance. Assert Dominance actually coming out, not sure where. It looks like it was in church, but the Overpower coming in to convert. That's basically a wasted ultimate. Renegades have a really good foot to stand on to retake this point.
Shadow can now get aggressive, finds the first one onto Evil Eye. Couple trapped up members of Kanga off to the side here. Joel's has to try to cover his escape here. No more shielding for him. Maybe has a cooldown of the rocket boots, but Gera just goes a little bit too deep. Actually drops the dome shield. He's kind of alone here off to this side, buying just a little bit of time.
The Seismic Crash was huge. They're managing to get the kill on Chronix. The damage couldn't stop them from coming into the dome shield now. 2 members on Kanga just completely zoned out. How well can Renegade's point poke them out here? Looks like Asher's in the banana, getting pressured a bit by the Khan. She's the one they want to look out for the touch, even without Assert Dominance. That dash is big. Hero, another really solid wall, keeping the Ashe locked out. I don't think Kanga have a way in at all, and they don't. Renegade's gonna go up, not Kanga. Renegade's gonna go up 2-1. You sound like a villain in a cartoon. They just solved your mystery.
These meddling kids can't keep getting away with it. The Inflame for Kanga is going to buy them some time on this defensive end, win them this fight. Luckily, they need it. They need to stop this on defense because the Renegades, they got so close last time around. A much better start for Kanga this time to stop this payload from getting as close as it was. Viral's the last to get cleaned up here. Now the Renegades are going to get full wiped. Give it another go, get back onto this payload. Damage charts kind of tell the story, though. I mean, top damage in the game going the way of Shadow and Vocals right there. And Kanga, though, it's that kind of core. I mean, they've hung around in this game.
I think Renegades, just the core of their comp is really strong. I mean, you have the better point tank, a really strong sustain healer, and you have Drogos who will just own the point. He'll just stay outside and kind of claim it. Scout actually lets Chronix find the opening, getting Invocal there on the side. Some trades coming in back and forth, but Kanga's coming out of the positive end of it, unless Shadow manages to find this kill in a bully, but the Fury of pocketing's too much. The beam actually saves, barely saves a bully, still gets caught out in the end by Hero's poke. They're diving to kill him. Can Shadow take advantage of this? Hero still kiting away, unkilled. Invocal's damage trying to peel for him too. He's still alive, 39 HP. Rhino finally cleans him up, but 2 go down for it.
Viral needs to stay alive. Does not do that just here. Rhino trapped back in the keep side as well. Likely going to fall here to Invocal. Actually, maybe not if Chronix is able to find the ever-important shots. Doesn't do it, but Shadow's lurking around the backside in the shadows. Fire spit goes out. Just a little bit wide, does not connect on that one. Dragon Punch could be very impactful here. Overpower as well. They essentially have 2 insta-deletes if they land both of those ultimates properly. 40 seconds remaining. Chronix is the first to go down. So much range now being clipped. You really have Willow, just some blast damage, but the rest of Kanga have to peel back as Renegades start to move forward.
Yeah, the fall off on the Tinkerin is huge. I mean, that's like the best other confirm they have, and it's getting like, what, 200? They're going to have to take way too many of those for it to make any impact. Renegades setting up for a strong poke here. Chronix back up. He can poke back on Shadow, and he's been actually very consistent, I think, on poking him down. He knows because it's his job. It's basically the only thing he has to do for them to hold. Shadow hitting really clean rockets, I think, from a distance. Chronix still trying to pressure him out, but Renegades have a stronghold. They're just looking for some damage. They're looking for a kill. They have a poke composition at its core. They're trying to execute on their plan.
Well, let's do this again. Payload's getting close. Overtime begins. Last one went in favor of Kanga. Both teams fully stacked on their ultimates. Ready to go, but can somebody find an early pick? Evil Eye's the first one to go down. Invocal dashes in, hits the daggers. Chronix, though, pulls things back, deals with the dragon. That's been so important. Kanga have not been able to do that, but they're able to do it here. Joel's catches maybe one too many daggers, gets in, gets a little bit healing. No other kills except for those 1-for-1 trades to start this off.
Yeah, Invocal's dodging so well, too. Chronix mixed a lot, had to back up. Invocal maybe coming in to find a kill. They confirm on Rhino of only diving for it, but the DR from Invocal keeps him alive. Moonchopper going down, too, but they managed to force out the Dome Shield. That's a win for Renegades so far. Will Hero get his wall back? No. Kanga will get the defense, but Renegades have an ult advantage going into this third mid, and you are slumping so far down in your chair. I was about to say Banny, but I don't think anyone watching the stream knows who that is.
I might as well have been on the floor there towards the end. Good point you bring up, though. Dome Shield is no more for Kanga. They baited out. They do get the point, though. It's important. You know, without the Dome Shield, whether that goes in or not, up for debate. They just wanted to be sure. Make sure that it does not. Renegades have had these mid-fights figured out, though. It's been the Drogos a lot of the time, but Invocal had a great half this last time around.
I mean, the Renegades adapted really fast to how Kanga tried to adapt to them, you know. Kanga took the keep fight. They lost it. They did like any good team would do and go, all right, keep's not for us. We will not win keep. They went church, and Renegades managed to rotate. They had the surround. Lots of resilience. You can see how important Midnight is. Like I said, even after the nerfs, like, you need that much resilience to be able to do anything when that ultimate's up.
This is going to be Invocal looking to get aggressive as well. Midnight is ready. Knows where Chronix is. Actually, maybe is going to try to get a little bit aggressive here. Chronix knows it. He's backing off right now. One too many daggers would end the life of the Cassie here. It's not going to happen. He's going to back off. Maybe one shot. He's down to 300 health, but if nothing else, he's forced out of the fight as the Inflame comes through.
Yeah, the Inflame coming through, but it's only on the Fate fight. Hero actually living through it. If only didn't want to come in even with the Assert Dominance there. Dragon Punch coming in to confirm on Rhino means Assert Dominance, Fate Flight, and Inflame kind of wasted. Trades coming in here. Shadow coming around to the side, poking on the healer. Healer cannot focus on healing his main targets right now. Time is coming in for Kanga, but Renegades have the number advantage. Great stun, great stun, I think, but not enough to change how this fight's going. Renegades looking very powerful, and if they get the stagger, this is going to be a great situation for them.
Shadow still alive, still in this fight. Is he able to get the kill onto Chronix? He does not. He tumbles back. They know that they're going around this banana side here. Hero's just going to try to buy as much time as he can. The wall is going to do that, maybe even a kill on the back end of it as well. He's actually going to turn this corner, maybe try to get the kill onto Rhino, and Vocal's going to be the one to do it. 87% for Renegades. There is a contest on the back end, but that's 4 kills. That's 1 point away. That's a quadra kill for Invocal, and they're pushing to end this game.
What a smart and strong zone by Renegades there. I mean, Hero was willing to give away his life for that, but it was clearly worth it. Denied the Ash's shoulder bash. That was actually a big part of it. The Ash thought she had the battering ram to live. She did, but then there goes the touch. There goes like a valuable touch. The Barrack had to go in and throw away his life, and it just completely flipped things around. I mean, there was nothing Kang could do to touch at that point other than just throw away Joel's.
They want this win. You can feel it. You can feel it in the air. Cool, calm, and collected. They have this payload push. and then a mid cap to go if you don't get it to go this time around. Hero finds one onto Chronix, is able to back himself off, keep himself alive. Shadow's trying to get himself into a position to succeed as well. Dragon Punch could start this one off well. Renegades have 4 ultimates. You have to look at that. They get the kill onto Jules. It's already a 5v4 as the Renegades round maybe the final corner.
They pull around now. Gera, there's no heals coming in. Chronix gets a trade onto Shadow, but there's no heals. If they can keep stay alive on the point, they can make this work. If only finding the pick on the side, Renegades need good focus fire. Midnight gets countered by Scout, and the Scout, they can't fear the Cassie because of the Scout as well. Seismic Crash also wasted on her. Hero walls himself up to try to get in, but they're just going to have to get rid of the stagger at this point. Renegades used a couple ultimates, I think, out of panic, but they have enough time for another fight.
They do. Dragon Punch is ready as well. Overpower. Things were looking good. 1 minute and 8 seconds left. A hair's breadth away from ending this game, getting the Renegades another win in the PPL. Who finds the first pick? You have assert dominance in Flame as well for Kanga. Could turn things around. But then the Renegades would be in a great spot for this next mid fight. 52 seconds left. You don't want to be the first one to go down here. Joel's in a bit of an awkward spot. Hero calls his bluff. The bowling ball keeps him alive. Good bit of healing from Furia as well, though. But the daggers, they're hurting so heavily as a vocal dashes out.
The Inflame used early, too. That's not going to help them. They used it last fight to stay alive, but now they won't have that luxury. And their positioning over here, no one is able to punish them. Evola keeps getting poked back by Shadow, which opens things up for Invocal on the bottom left. They can't punish this Mave, so Joel's can't hold the card as comfortably as he'd like to.
Who's gonna find it? I'm looking for this Dragon Punch to maybe make a difference here. Up and over goes Rhino, but he stays alive. Wrapping around the corner, Evil Eye instead finds the first kill onto Moonchopper. Renegades has to back off. They need to back off right now if they want to have another chance at it. Maybe find a kill. Down, 5 seconds left. They're not really in a position to contest. Maybe going to get back to full strength. Hero could get a touch. The wall is going to allow him to do it. We are going to go to overtime. Do Renegades win it, or do we go to a .7?
Let's see, Rhino up top poking down on Invocal. They know they have to do something about him. Shadow actually can't be putting on any damage right now, so he can't just pressure this Ashe out. She's going to get free poke. Hero has to go to the point in the dead zone. It looks like there's no kills going either way. Renegades' health is really bad, but the first pick goes to them. It looks like Hero managed to back off actually and get fully re-healed, so he's completely contesting. Willow has to Fae Flight, poked down by Shadow. He's salvoing, trying to get something, getting some damage on the Cassie, so she can't poke for free. Dreadserpent coming in up top. Looks like Renegades want to commit to this, and they have every reason to, with Joel's down as well. If only committing to the cart, they focus him down. Moonchopper's going to go down as well, barely saved by his shield.
They're going to do it!
All the tanks are so low. They try to throw Ashe out of the assert dominance, but they can't. They can't kill an invincible target. They focus down Gary, he's dead, but he backs off. Hero does need to stay alive, but he's full HP. He's not the worry now, and Vocal needs to back off. He ends up dying. Hero still in their face. Is he going to Seismic Crash for this? I don't think he has any DPS. Is it worth it? It's so hard to tell. Shadow actually comes back. It might be worth it now. If Volley's focusing on Hero, though, will he stay alive? No! Kanga get another defense. I am out of breath. Renegades probably are too from holding theirs. And we go into a final point fight, Dave. I actually straight up...
No! End me. Oh, we're going down to a .7, whether you're a fan of Renegades, whether you're a fan of Kanga. One final point to end it all. Renegades, an inch away. Hero's hair was dark at the beginning of this game. It's turned gray over the course of the last 7.
The joke was
Moonchopper, right. Moonchopper's hair was dark at the beginning of this game, turned gray over the course of the last 7 games. One final point. 14-7 for Shadow. 17-7 for Invocal. 1 ultimate ready for the Renegades. 2 ultimates ready for Kanga. Who finds the first pick?
Looks like Renegades setting up on the key period. They have the high ground to poke and surround. I don't think they see Invocal. They have to use the Dome Shield early to kind of slow down Shadow, but no picks either way. Everyone's just hiding. Shadow actually managed to catch this push. Can he kill a Volley? Seismic Crash coming in. They get the confirm. Shadow's going to have to stay higher to make sure he doesn't get focused down, but the trades are actually dead even in Kanga's favor now, and they have the cow time advantage. Joel's is coming in to get this, but Invocal evens it out. He has to hide. Everything's actually going Renegades' way now. Invocal's on the tiniest sliver of health. I think it was sub 100. Joel's is actually backing off here. Okay, he manages to live. I was going to say, if Vocal hits these daggers, this is so bad for them.
Very close.
Renegade's actually backing off the point. I think Hero's playing his life. This is smart. Better to do that than overcommit in a high-pressure situation like this.
Renegades on the retake attempt. Dragon Punch almost ready as well.
Fae Flight
is going to get used here. Are they able actually to even get Evil Eye uncomfortable? Maybe put him in a bit of an awkward spot. Renegade 66%. Dragon Punch coming in from Shadow, finds Joel's. That's the first kill in this engagement. Getting one onto Garo would be huge as well. He stays alive. He manages to get out in time as well. And Vocal drops the Midnight. Where are the rest of the kills? They get the overpower. They're at 99%. Renegades have all the kills. Renegades are looking to win this game. They get the assert dominance out. They're going to win it. And the Renegades find another win in the PPL.
History repeats itself once again. The Renegades, the Cowboys, slay the Ruse. Renegades Shadow so emotional after a set like that, almost as emotional as you are right now, Dave. I can see it.
Yes!
I can see it in your eyes, and I can see it in theirs. They are so relieved. So are we. So is probably everyone at home watching this. What a set. What a game across the board. Kanga looking defeated after that. I mean, any amount of adrenaline flowing, you got to be deflated after it goes the other way.
You have to feel for them. You have to look at Kanga. That's a hard-fought game. This is a position that the Renegades have been in time and time and time again. And finally, they make good on a Game 7. They come out on top. A 21-game day of the PPL comes down to one final game where the Renegades get the win.
What a miracle fight there at the end, too. In
Oh
Vocal, I actually saw someone in the Mixer chat. I am 90% sure it was a troll earlier, but he said Invocal and Shadow are not PPL level. I want you, I hope you're still here. I don't remember your name. That
It was me
Dolson
in
in chat.
Yeah, right. You know I'd never
He was
said
hyping himself down, but I want you guys to watch this game. Remember why these players are here. They played phenomenally.
Yep.
Both teams played phenomenally, but in the end of the day, Renegades finally found the clutch factor. They finally pulled it out. What a game.
Vindication. Just
I
kidding.
wish we could show you the Renegades please sign that was taped.
Yeah, we
onto
have
the
a
casting
Renegades
door.
please sign
It came
taped
up
to our
in the
door
middle
here.
of that set.
They
Someone
make good on it. Renegades find the win in our third set of the day. Let's send it back to the desk and hear what they're thinking after that game.
They've got 2 total wins, both against Kanga. They do it again at the beginning of the split. I just hope the rest of the split kind of continues an upward path instead of a downward path that we saw in the last split. But, I mean, again, starting things off pretty well
They
for
were
them.
amped, man. There's a lot of energy coming out of that Renegades booth. It's one hell of a climb to get themselves out of that hole that Kanga
Those
put them in
damage
early
numbers.
On. Yeah, I mean, that was a long game. That was a long, long game. I think it was probably close to 20 minutes by the end of it. 3 people breaking 6 figures on Kanga. I think at least 2 for the Renegades. 21-7 for Invocal. He kind of showed back up. I think the previous 2 games was a lot about Shadow. He, frankly, having some pretty big games. All in all, toughness out of the Renegades. They did not want to lose today, and they didn't.
They bought resilience, but not in-game. It was real life.
Yeah,
Just
real life.
enduring
Resilience
everything you
IRL,
possibly
dude.
could have. And I believe that puts them now at 2-13. It's the first time that that's gone up in a very, very long time looking at the standings at the end of the day. Again, if you look at the plus minus, it's not going to go up too much, -39. But that win honestly counts more than anything. And again, see the shakeup where it truly happens. Kanga are no longer in 5th place. They get knocked down. That's the power this Renegades roster have. They changed the entire league from the bottom.
Onward and upward, I guess. We've got Pittsburgh Knights, you know, nearly taking a set win off of NIP. You've got the Renegades upsetting Kanga. This is certainly shaping up to be a very interesting phase 2 and a very interesting World Championship.
And that's, again, just day 1. About, what, 11 total hours of broadcasts that's been coming
like
in.
that.
Knights and NIP. If you remember years ago today, that is actually the first set we saw was in 4-3. NIP were able to close it out. Envy Navi, again, years ago today, if you remember, was the second set, 4-3 to Navi. But now we have the one that I think was the unexpected win. Renegades finding their 4-3. Kanga, Envy going up against each other tomorrow morning at 11, followed by Navi Renegades, followed by Knights VP. It's going to be another awesome day, but we have the Renegades standing by relatively shortly. Before we jump to them, Nick, final thoughts for this long day?
I mean, congratulations to the Renegades. Great resilience shown. They were so down in this set early on. To be able to just kind of one step at a time bring this one back, it shows a good promise, I think, for them in this phase.
Well, we've got Hero, we've got Viral standing by the Renegades. We're happy as they won. Imagine they're still happy right now. Let's jump down to them and hear what they think after that set.
All right, guys, another Game 7 today. 21 out of 21 games, all capped off with a Renegades win. Gore says he imagines you guys are still happy. What does this win to you, or what does this win mean to you, and how are you guys feeling?
This win means a lot to me personally. I really wanted to prove a lot coming into this split because I feel like people think I'm a bad player, but I think I'm a really good player. So I'm just trying to get some more wins this time.
Yeah, I think you definitely proved yourself today, Hero. I wanted to say, in this meta, I think you guys were adapting pretty well. How do you feel your team fares in this meta? I mean, your first win coming out in the meta, well, in this side of the split, makes you think you're probably pretty good. But how are you guys feeling in this meta, maybe related to some of the other teams?
I mean, I think it's fine. It's just during season, like everything's changing constantly, so it's just the matter of adapting. Right now in this meta, I think we're fine. But every day we just have to learn, keep on learning.
What are some takeaways from this matchup? Obviously, it's a long game 7. You know, what's the next step here for the Renegades?
Keep building on what we've done, show that we can improve, even though we didn't make any roster changes, like some people were hoping because of Penta and all that stuff. Just show that we're here, we're not coasting by, we're not going to be happy being 8th place with no wins.
So I guess that's kind of a follow-up question. Obviously, standings don't reset. Where do you guys see yourself maybe in week 13?
I'm not worried about week 13 or the standing as much as I am about being a good team coming into Worlds qualifiers this year and hoping to qualify for that.
Well, that's a great way to look at it. Again, congratulations, guys, back here in the winter seat. A great feeling to be sure. Thank you for everyone who tuned in today. A long day of Paladins, 21 out of 21 games. 11 a.m. tomorrow. We got 3 more sets to start off your weekend. Be sure to tune in, and we'll see you next time.